What if those imaginary friends, those night terrors, and those intense feelings weren't just childhood things, but actually signposts on a unique path, markers that should never have been dismissed? Chosen ones, this is for you if you felt like you were living in a world no one else understood. Prepare to have the hidden meanings behind these misunderstood experiences unveiled. They are there for a reason. I stand before you today to tell you that the feelings you had as a child, that sense of being different, of seeing the world through a unique lens, were not signs of weakness or abnormality. These are the precise reasons you're among the chosen. Many of you likely felt isolated growing up, struggling to fit in with your peers, or constantly being labeled as overly sensitive or weird. You may have been told to toughen up, to stop daydreaming, or to get your head out of the clouds. But what if those daydreams were actually glimpses into spiritual realms? What if that overly sensitive nature was actually a heightened awareness of the emotions and energies around you? Conventional psychology might try to pathologize these experiences, labeling them as anxiety, overactive imagination, or even childhood disorders. But we know better, don't we? We understand that these sensitivities are not weaknesses to be medicated away, but indicators of a deeper spiritual awakening. You were chosen, specifically chosen, to perceive the world in a way that others cannot, to feel things deeply, to see beyond the veil. These experiences were divinely orchestrated, preparing you for a unique mission, a calling that only you can fulfill. Before we dive deeper, take a moment to connect with this energy. If you resonate with what I've said so far, if you feel a stirring within your spirit, then hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Let us know in the comments by sharing one word that describes your childhood experience. Sharing will help us build a community and to reach 100,000 subscribers. And if you haven't had similar childhood experiences, stay tuned, because what you're about to learn will give you valuable insights into the lives and perspectives of the chosen ones, the empaths, the healers, and the lightworkers who are here to make a difference in the world. By engaging with this message, you are aligning yourself with a community of like-minded souls and opening yourself up to further understanding. Now, let's delve into the specific childhood experiences that are shared by many chosen ones, experiences that are rarely discussed openly, almost as if they are a forbidden secret. These experiences aren't just random quirks or personality traits. They are part of a larger pattern, a kind of secret language of the divinely appointed, a hidden blueprint encoded in your very being. I'm going to reveal why these experiences are so common and what they signify in terms of your spiritual gifts, your unique purpose, and your ultimate destiny. What if those childhood things were actually a blueprint for your divine assignment? Understanding these experiences can unlock hidden potential, provide profound clarity, and empower you to fully embrace your unique path. Get ready, because now the real wave begins. Chosen ones, have you ever had that unexplainable feeling of knowing something was going to happen long before there was any logical reason to believe it? Did you ever just know about an event before it happened and thought everyone else felt the same way? You might have dismissed it as a lucky guess or coincidence, but I'm here to tell you that it was far more than that. Heightened intuition is a common trait among those who are chosen, a spiritual antenna tuned to a higher frequency. It's not just intelligence or street smarts. It's a direct line to divine guidance, a subtle whisper from the Holy Spirit that guides your steps. This intuition often manifests as gut feelings, premonitions, and an uncanny ability to sense subtle energies that others simply miss. It's that feeling in the pit of your stomach that warns you away from a dangerous situation, or that sudden flash of insight that leads you to make a life-changing decision. But this is not some parlor trick. This is a honed sense of truth that keeps you safe and on your path, even when the path is dark and confusing. It is part of your divine GPS and has kept you alive so far. Consider Joseph in the Bible. He didn't just interpret dreams. He knew their meaning with unwavering certainty, even when those meanings were unsettling or unpopular. He was able to see beyond the surface and discern the hidden messages from God. Or think of the prophets, receiving divine messages and warnings that guided nations. Their intuition wasn't just a feeling, it was a clear channel to the divine. I recall a chosen one who, as a child, had a recurring dream about a car accident at a specific intersection. She begged her parents to avoid that route, but they dismissed her fears as childish fantasies. One day, they decided to ignore her pleas, and tragically, they were involved in a serious accident at that very intersection. Her heightened intuition was a warning, a divine gift that could have saved them from harm. This is just one example, but how many times have you had similar feelings? This heightened intuition is not just a random gift. It's a crucial tool for navigating your unique path and fulfilling your divine purpose. It's the compass that guides you through the storms of life, the inner voice that whispers truth when the world is screaming lies. But what if there was someone in your childhood that knew this about you all along and perhaps even tried to shut it down? Now let's consider something that might sting a little. Many chosen ones had their intuition suppressed or invalidated by authority figures during childhood. Was there someone in your life who actively discouraged your hunches and your odd feelings? Perhaps it was a parent, a teacher, or even a religious leader who dismissed your insights as mere imagination or childish nonsense. This suppression of intuition is a tactic often used by the enemy to dim your light and derail you from your destiny. Think about it. Why would someone actively discourage a child's intuition? Often, it stems from fear of the unknown, discomfort with the unconventional, or a desire to conform to societal norms. Authority figures, even with good intentions, may try to mold children into what they consider normal or acceptable, stifling their unique gifts and sensitivities in the process. The psychological impact of this suppression can be devastating, leading to self-doubt, confusion, and a profound disconnection from one's inner guidance. You may start to question your own sanity, wondering if you're just making things up or being overly dramatic. This can lead to years of internal conflict, struggling to trust your own instincts and feeling lost in a world that doesn't understand you. Remember, the devil loves to attack you through your own thoughts. Contrast this with Samuel, whose prophetic abilities were recognized and nurtured by Eli. Eli, though flawed, understood the importance of listening to the voice of God, even when it came through a child. He didn't dismiss Samuel's visions. He guided him, helping him to understand and interpret them. Now, I want you to consider what happens when you are convinced of something that is false. As a highly empathetic person, what does it mean when someone tries to convince you of something you know is false? Your body tenses, your fight or flight kicks in, and your sense of self is eroded. That is a sign that the suppressor doesn't have your best intentions at heart, which also goes to say that you need to start having your best intentions at heart. Reclaiming and redeveloping this suppressed intuition as an adult is crucial. Doing so can unlock hidden potential and empower you to make authentic choices aligned with your divine purpose. But how can you tell if your intuition is real or just your imagination? This is a question I get asked all the time. It isn't always easy to tell fact from fiction, especially when the facts come from within. How can you be sure that what you're feeling is divine guidance and not just wishful thinking or fear-based projections? It's a valid concern and one that deserves careful consideration. After all, the enemy can mimic the voice of God, attempting to lead you astray with false promises and deceptive illusions. There are practical guidelines for discerning true intuition. Pay attention to physical sensations. True intuition often manifests as a distinct physical feeling, a gut feeling, goosebumps, a sense of lightness, or a feeling of warmth in your heart. Observe the consistency of the message. Is the message consistent over time, or does it change depending on your mood or circumstances? True intuition is often persistent and unwavering. Test the intuition through prayer and meditation. Ask God to confirm the message and pay attention to any signs or synchronicities that may appear. It's also important to cultivate self-awareness and understand your own biases and emotional triggers. Are you projecting your fears or desires onto the situation? Are you allowing your emotions to cloud your judgment? Jesus, in the wilderness, had to discern the voice of God from the temptations of Satan. He relied on scripture and prayer to guide him, resisting the urge to act impulsively or out of ego. He teaches us to use the tools available to us in the world, to think clearly. This is something the chosen often struggle with, but it is of utmost importance that we develop a clear inner voice, free from negativity and doubt. If your body is the temple, what is it trying to tell you? I knew a chosen one who learned to trust her intuition by practicing mindfulness and paying attention to subtle cues. She would spend time in nature, quieting her mind and listening to the whispers of her soul. Over time, she developed a strong sense of inner knowing, guiding her through difficult decisions and leading her to incredible opportunities. But this is one part of the puzzle. What happens when the divine takes a physical form? Now, let's delve into something even more uncommon: encounters with spiritual entities. Did you have imaginary friends that now, looking back, seem far too wise or even prescient for a child? Was your imaginary friend there when no one else was? You might have been told they were just a figment of your imagination, a product of loneliness or boredom. But what if they were something more? Encounters with angels, spirits, or other non-physical beings are more common among chosen ones during childhood than is widely acknowledged. It's a secret the gatekeepers try to keep hidden, because these encounters can unlock a deeper understanding of the spiritual realm and empower you to embrace your unique gifts. I want to emphasize that these encounters are not necessarily signs of mental illness. They can be divine visitations, interactions with spirit guides, or even glimpses into other dimensions. These encounters can take many forms, such as seeing apparitions, hearing voices, or simply feeling a presence. In that sense, it is important to reiterate the importance of being self-reliant. If there is no self, it makes one vulnerable to spiritual influence. It is important to protect your mind and develop your spiritual shield. The enemy will take advantage of any vulnerabilities you have. Think about the countless examples in the Bible of angels appearing to individuals, delivering messages, offering guidance, and providing protection. The angel Gabriel appeared to Mary, announcing the birth of Jesus. Angels appeared to Jacob in a dream, promising him blessings and protection. These encounters were not considered signs of madness. They were recognized as divine interventions. I knew a chosen one who had a recurring encounter with a guardian angel during childhood, offering comfort and guidance during difficult times. This angel would appear in moments of fear or loneliness, providing a sense of peace and reassurance. The experiences shaped this person's life and their strong faith. What if these entities have been with you not just during childhood, but longer? What if they've been guiding you, protecting you, and whispering words of wisdom in your ear all along? It is worth considering, but what do you do with that information? I know that the idea of encountering spiritual entities can be frightening or unsettling. It's natural to feel apprehensive, especially when dealing with the unseen realm. The spirit realm isn't like what we see on TV. How can you safely navigate these encounters, protecting yourself from negative influences and discerning the true nature of these beings? The very first step is setting clear boundaries, praying for protection, and seeking guidance from trusted spiritual mentors. Declare your authority in Christ Jesus. Command any negative entities to leave your presence and surround yourself with the light of God. If you struggle with setting boundaries, you should spend time praying about that, because you will need that skill now more than ever. Daniel interpreted dreams and visions with wisdom and discernment, seeking God's guidance to understand the messages he received. He didn't blindly accept every vision as truth. He carefully examined them, testing them against scripture and seeking divine confirmation. I once knew a chosen one who learned to protect themselves from negative spiritual influences through prayer and spiritual practices. They would visualize a shield of light surrounding them, deflecting any negativity or harm. They also learned to discern between benevolent and malevolent entities, trusting their intuition and seeking guidance from trusted spiritual mentors. What happens if you don't have boundaries? What happens if you let anyone into your temple? These encounters, while potentially challenging, can also be powerful catalysts for spiritual growth and self-discovery. They can open you up to new realms of understanding, deepen your connection with the divine, and empower you to embrace your unique gifts. But we're just scratching the surface. What we'll discover next is even more shocking. These childhood experiences are preparing chosen ones for a specific mission or calling, a mission that requires unique sensitivities and understanding, the revelation of which will leave you stunned. How can we even be sure it's a mission at all? Chosen ones, have you ever woken up from a dream so vivid, so real, that it lingered with you long after you opened your eyes? A dream filled with symbols and messages that felt profoundly important, almost like another world unfolding within your mind. You might have dismissed these dreams as mere imagination, the random firings of your brain during sleep. But what if they were not? Vivid dreams and visions are a common, yet often misunderstood, experience among those who are chosen. These aren't just random occurrences. They're often portals to the spiritual realm, a direct line of communication from the divine. The language of dreams is symbolic, a tapestry woven with images and metaphors that convey messages beyond the grasp of our conscious minds. Think of it as God's way of speaking to you in a language your soul understands, bypassing the filters of logic and reason. These dreams can provide guidance, offer warnings about future events, or even reveal hidden aspects of your own soul. But vivid dreams differ from prophetic dreams, or do they? Is there a consistent theme that seems to weave through these dreams, such as water, animals, or a specific location? If so, this dream, though vivid, is likely more important than you imagined. Consider Joseph in the Bible, whose ability to interpret dreams led him from prison to power. He didn't just guess at the meaning of Pharaoh's dream. He tapped into a divine understanding, unlocking a message that saved an entire nation from famine. Or think of Daniel, whose visions revealed the rise and fall of empires. These weren't just fanciful stories. They were glimpses into the future, revealed through the language of dreams. I recall a chosen one who, as a child, had recurring dreams of a dark forest and a hidden path. She felt an overwhelming sense of dread in these dreams, but also a pull to follow the path. Years later, she faced a difficult decision in her career, a choice between a safe, predictable path and a risky, unconventional one. The memory of her dreams flooded back, and she realized that the dark forest represented her fears, while the hidden path symbolized her true calling. She chose the risky path, and it led her to a life of purpose and fulfillment. But are these dreams always positive? What happens when they are filled with dread and you wake up in a cold sweat? Now, let's consider the other side of the coin, nightmares and unsettling dreams. These aren't always random occurrences, the result of a late-night snack or a scary movie. They can be spiritual attacks, attempts by malevolent entities to influence or torment you through your dreams. What if that feeling of dread during a nightmare is very, very real? Malevolent entities can use your dreams as a gateway to plant seeds of fear, anxiety, and spiritual oppression. They can attempt to distort your perception of reality, weaken your faith, and derail you from your divine purpose. This is spiritual warfare in the dream realm, a battle for your mind and soul that unfolds while you sleep. But you are not defenseless. You have the power to fight back, to protect yourself from these attacks. What happens if you are being influenced or controlled and aren't even aware of it? How do you discern fact from fiction in your dreams? Scripture reminds us that we are in a constant battle against spiritual forces of evil. Ephesians 6:12 says, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." This battle extends into the dream realm, where we must be vigilant and prepared. I recall a chosen one who was plagued by recurring nightmares of being chased and attacked by shadowy figures. She felt drained and oppressed, even during her waking hours. One night, she decided to fight back. Before falling asleep, she prayed for protection, visualized a shield of light surrounding her, and rebuked the negative entities in the name of Jesus. During the dream, when the shadowy figures attacked, She stood her ground, declaring her authority in Christ. The figures recoiled and vanished, and she never had the nightmare again. What happens if these attacks get more frequent, more intense? What happens if you feel that you are about to lose control? But here's the crucial point. Your ability to navigate the dream realm and overcome these spiritual attacks is not just about self-defense. It's a form of training, a preparation for your divine mission. What role does all of this play in your ultimate purpose? Chosen ones, these vivid dreams, these encounters with spiritual entities, they are not random events, but rather carefully orchestrated elements of a divine plan to prepare you for a specific mission or calling. What if your dreams are not a reflection of reality, but more real than reality, providing glimpses into your destiny? Dream interpretation can unlock hidden potential, provide clarity about your purpose, and empower you to embrace your unique path. By understanding the symbolic language of your dreams, you can gain insights into your subconscious mind, identify recurring patterns, and uncover hidden messages from the divine. Keep a dream journal, recording your dreams as soon as you wake up. Look for recurring symbols, themes, and emotions. Seek guidance from trusted spiritual mentors who can help you interpret the deeper meanings of your dreams. Remember, what if there is a secret language of your dreams that no one else knows? Think of Daniel, who not only interpreted dreams, but also advised kings. His gift of dream interpretation directly led to him serving his higher power. Or consider Joseph, again. Did you know there are varying interpretations of the meaning of striped coat? It is often said to symbolize his father's favoritism toward him, but it can also symbolize spiritual destiny. I know a chosen one who was working a job that felt soulless and unfulfilling. She had a recurring dream of climbing a mountain, but never reaching the top. She consulted a spiritual mentor who helped her realize that the mountain represented her career aspirations, and the inability to reach the top symbolized her lack of passion and purpose. She decided to leave her job and pursue her true calling as an artist, and she has never been happier. Can you recall moments when your dreams offered clarity, providing you a compass when the world felt confusing? Now, let's connect all three of these uncommon childhood experiences: heightened intuition, encounters with spiritual entities, and vivid dreams, and what these are telling you. Understand that the world may try to convince you that you are suffering from mental illness, but there are those who are suffering right now, who need your sensitivity and need your unique understanding. Now what, chosen ones, have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt the weight of sadness or anxiety hanging in the air, even before anyone said a word? Have you ever found yourself inexplicably tearful after watching a movie, feeling the character's pain as if it were your own? Did the suffering of others overwhelm you? It's more than just empathy, which is feeling with someone. This is feeling as someone, and it's a common experience among those of us who are chosen. Intense empathy is the ability to deeply feel and absorb the emotions of others, almost as if you were an emotional sponge. You're not just understanding their feelings intellectually, you're experiencing them viscerally in your own body and mind. This can manifest in many ways: physical symptoms like headaches, fatigue, or stomach problems. Emotional distress such as anxiety, depression, or panic attacks, or even a sense of being overwhelmed by the sheer volume of emotions around you. What if this sensitivity isn't a defect, but evidence of something much deeper within you? Can you tell what someone is feeling without them saying a word? Do you simply know when someone is having a bad day or if someone is lying? The world needs more of you. There are examples of empathy throughout the Bible. Jesus, for instance, was deeply moved by the suffering of others, healing the sick, comforting the grieving, and even raising the dead out of compassion. He didn't just see their pain, he felt it in his own heart. I once knew a chosen one who, as a child, couldn't bear to be around conflict. Arguments between her parents would leave her physically ill, and she would often retreat to her room, overwhelmed by the negative energy. She was labeled too sensitive, dramatic, and told to get over it. Her friends thought she was strange, but as she got older, she realized that her empathy was not a weakness, but a strength. What if you could feel the pain and the suffering around you, and instead of being overwhelmed, you were able to heal it? What if you are the vessel for God's love on earth? What if you are one of the most powerful of God's warriors? Were you called too sensitive, dramatic, or told to get over it? This gift, however, is heavy. How can you survive when the world around you is in so much pain? Empathy, while a powerful gift, can also be a significant burden. Absorbing other people's emotions can drain your energy, weaken your immune system, and lead to emotional burnout. Imagine being constantly bombarded by the emotions of everyone around you, feeling their joy, their sorrow, their anger, their fear, all at once. It's like trying to navigate a crowded room with all the lights flashing and the music blaring. It can be overwhelming, disorienting, and exhausting. What if the world's suffering is amplified through you? How do you navigate that? Are there ways to mute that or control it? It's crucial to set healthy boundaries and protect yourself from negative energy. Think of yourself as a radio receiver, constantly picking up signals from the surrounding environment. You have the ability to tune into different frequencies, to amplify certain signals and filter out others. But if you don't have proper shielding, you can become overwhelmed by the noise. This is where boundaries come in. They are the protective layers that shield you from negative energy and allow you to focus on your own well-being. Have you ever met an emotional vampire? They drain your energy and your happiness, leaving you with very little left to give. I recall a chosen one who struggled with chronic fatigue and anxiety for years. She was constantly taking on the problems of others, feeling responsible for their happiness and well-being. She didn't realize that she was absorbing their emotions, carrying their burdens as if they were her own. It wasn't until she learned to set healthy boundaries that she began to heal. She started saying no to requests that drained her energy, limiting her exposure to negative environments, and practicing visualization techniques to create a protective shield around herself. She began to guard her heart and mind by praying and reading her Bible every day. Over time, she regained her energy, her health improved, and she found a sense of peace she had never known before. But what if you are close to them and are unwilling to cut ties? What if you have to find a way to manage your life with them in it? What if your greatest weakness is actually your greatest strength, waiting to be unlocked? Intense empathy, when properly harnessed, can be a powerful superpower, enabling you to heal, guide, and uplift others. Imagine being able to truly understand someone's pain, to connect with them on a deep emotional level, and to offer them the compassion and support they need to heal. This is the power of empathy, and it's a gift that can transform lives. But how can one direct and regulate this energy? What if your sensitivity is actually a compass, guiding you to where you're needed most? What if your sensitivity actually holds the key to changing the lives of those around you? It starts with self-awareness, understanding your own emotions and triggers, and recognizing when you're absorbing the emotions of others. Develop techniques such as emotional regulation, mindfulness, and creative expression. Spend time in nature, connecting with the Earth's energy. Practice meditation or prayer, quieting your mind and connecting with the divine. Engage in activities that bring you joy and replenish your energy, such as listening to music, painting, or spending time with loved ones. Remember, the answer is not to shut down your empathy, but to direct and regulate it, using it as a tool for healing and guidance. I know a chosen one who learned to use her empathy to connect with and heal others, becoming a successful counselor. She was able to create a safe and supportive space for her clients to explore their emotions, offering them validation, understanding, and practical tools for healing. She had a gift. She has also written books, started a blog, and become an advocate for mental health awareness. Can you see how your natural gift can turn into a calling and then into an enterprise? Where are you headed? Now, let's bring all four of these uncommon childhood experiences together: heightened intuition, encounters with spiritual entities, vivid dreams, and intense empathy. How do these experiences fit together? What is the symphony they create when combined? These experiences are interconnected and amplify one another, creating a powerful synergy that equips you for your divine mission. Heightened intuition can guide your empathy, helping you to discern genuine emotions from manipulation and to identify those who are truly in need. Spiritual encounters can provide validation and guidance for navigating your empathic abilities, helping you to understand your purpose and to stay grounded in your faith. Vivid dreams can provide insight into the emotional landscape of others, revealing hidden patterns and providing clues for healing. Connect the ability to fight back in the dream world with real-world abilities. Did you think that practice was for nothing? Imagine a scenario where a chosen one uses all 4 gifts to navigate a challenging situation. A friend is struggling with addiction, and the chosen one senses their pain through empathy. Their intuition tells them that the friend is being manipulated by a negative influence. Their dreams provide insight into the root cause of the addiction, revealing a hidden trauma from their past. Through a spiritual encounter, they receive guidance on how to help their friend break free from the addiction. By using all 4 gifts in harmony, the chosen one is able to guide their friend to the help that he needs to survive, and the friend is able to turn his life around. Do you see how this works? There are also figures in the Bible that are connected with combined powers, such as Daniel, Moses, or Jacob. Remember, chosen ones, your unique childhood experiences are not signs of weakness, but rather evidence of your divine calling. You've been heavily targeted, and so need these sensitivities to survive, and now it's time to embrace your gifts and fulfill your purpose. But we're just scratching the surface. There are secrets still to be revealed, battles still to be fought, and destinies still to be fulfilled. But what if I told you that the most powerful weapon against you is already within you? Chosen ones, have you ever noticed that the experiences we've been discussing aren't just isolated incidents? Have you ever felt like there's a hidden pattern, a common thread woven into the tapestry of your life, connecting all these unusual sensitivities and encounters? What if these experiences weren't random at all, but were all connected in a very specific way? Beyond heightened intuition, spiritual encounters, vivid dreams, and intense empathy, many chosen ones experience a form of early childhood trauma or significant adversity. This is not to say that trauma is the defining point of a chosen one's life, but rather that the resilience born from overcoming these challenges shapes their unique sensitivities and gifts. The source of this adversity can vary widely. It could be external, such as abuse, neglect, or societal rejection for being different. It could be internal, arising from the intensity of spiritual experiences or a heightened awareness of the world's suffering. But adversity doesn't define you. It refines you. Think of it this way: gold is not valuable in its raw form. It must be subjected to intense heat to burn away the impurities and reveal its true brilliance. Similarly, chosen ones often face trials that forge their character, strengthen their compassion, and deepen their understanding of the human condition. These early hardships are not punishments. They are necessary preparations for the unique mission they are destined to fulfill. I recall the story of a chosen one who, as a child, grew up in an abusive home. She was constantly belittled, criticized, and made to feel worthless. She retreated into her inner world, finding solace in her vivid dreams and her connection to nature. She saw angels when no one else did. She developed an intense empathy for animals and a deep desire to protect the vulnerable. Her childhood was filled with pain, but it also ignited a fire within her. As she grew older, she transformed her pain into purpose, becoming a fierce advocate for children's rights and a healer for those who had experienced trauma. Just like Joseph, who was sold into slavery by his own brothers, she used her suffering to help others and ultimately fulfill her divine destiny. Or David, who was hunted down by Saul, only to become king. If these challenges are so crucial, were they orchestrated either by benevolent or malevolent forces? What if I told you that your gifts make you a target from a young age? Why do chosen ones seem to face so much adversity from a young age? Is it merely random chance, a cruel twist of fate? Or is there a more sinister force at play, actively seeking to suppress their gifts and prevent them from fulfilling their divine purpose? What if there are forces working against you that you can't see? What if your gifts make you a direct threat to the darkness? This is where the concept of spiritual warfare comes into play. Chosen ones are often targeted by malevolent forces who seek to derail their destiny. These attacks can manifest in many ways: negative thoughts that plague your mind, emotional distress that overwhelms your spirit, physical ailments that weaken your body, or difficult circumstances that test your faith. These forces often work through people, what some call energy vampires, individuals who intentionally or unintentionally drain the energy of chosen ones, leaving them feeling depleted, confused, and discouraged. What if these people are pawns in a much larger game? We see examples of spiritual warfare throughout the Bible. The temptation of Jesus in the wilderness is a prime example, where the enemy used deception and temptation to try to derail Jesus from his divine mission. The story of Job is another powerful illustration of how the enemy can attack a righteous person, seeking to break their faith and destroy their life. I once knew a chosen one who experienced constant attacks from negative forces. She would have nightmares, hear voices telling her she was worthless, and experience sudden bouts of anxiety and depression. She felt like she was being suffocated by darkness. She fought back by praying, reading her Bible, and surrounding herself with positive influences. She learned to recognize the enemy's tactics and to resist his lies. What if you could feel the energy shift when the darkness is near? Are you ready to fight back? But take heart, chosen ones. You are not powerless against these attacks. You have the power to protect yourselves and reclaim your authority. You can fight back in the dream world and in waking life. Are you ready to learn how? You are not defenseless against spiritual attacks. You have been given the tools and the power to protect yourselves and reclaim your authority. So, what are the specific steps you can take to defend yourselves against these negative influences? Prayer is your first line of defense, chosen ones. Through prayer, you can connect with God, seek His guidance, and ask for His protection. Meditation can help you quiet your mind, center your spirit, and become more aware of your thoughts and emotions. Visualization can be used to create a protective shield around yourself, deflecting negative energy and attracting positive influences. Think of it as building a fortress around your heart and mind, guarding it against intrusion. Affirmations can be used to reprogram your subconscious mind with positive beliefs and declarations of faith. Surrounding yourself with positive influences, such as uplifting music, inspiring books, and supportive relationships, can also help to create a protective environment. Setting healthy boundaries is crucial for protecting your energy and preventing others from draining you. This means saying no to requests that deplete you, limiting your exposure to toxic relationships, and prioritizing your own well-being. Learn to identify and block energy vampires from draining your energy, creating distance between you and them, whether that means ending a relationship or severely scaling it back. What if setting boundaries is the key to unlocking your potential? Remember David, who faced Goliath with only a slingshot and a few stones? It wasn't his physical strength that gave him victory, but his faith in God and his unwavering determination. I know a chosen one who used to be a doormat for everyone, always putting others' needs before her own. She was constantly taken advantage of and felt drained and resentful. It wasn't until she learned to set healthy boundaries that she began to reclaim her power. She started saying no to requests that drained her energy, cutting ties with toxic relationships, and prioritizing her own needs. Over time, she transformed her life. What if you could take that control for your own life? These childhood experiences, while challenging, were ultimately preparing you for a greater purpose. Your sensitivities and gifts are needed now more than ever in the world. But how can all of this be applied? How can you take what you've learned and channel it into your purpose? All of the experiences we've discussed, heightened intuition, spiritual encounters, vivid dreams, intense empathy, and even the challenges you've faced have been shaping you for a specific purpose. What if all of these things were building to this very moment, preparing you for what you are about to do? Chosen ones, you are called to use your unique gifts and sensitivities to make a positive impact on the world. bringing healing, guidance, and hope to others. This isn't just about personal fulfillment. It's about fulfilling a vital role in the larger tapestry of humanity. It's your time to embrace your authentic selves, trusting your inner guidance, and stepping into your divine calling. What if you could take everything you've learned and change the world for the better? Are you ready to step into your power? I remember a chosen one who struggled with anxiety and depression for years, feeling like an outcast and a misfit. She channeled her intense empathy and intuition into creating a healing arts center for other sensitive souls. She became a beacon of light for those who felt lost and alone, guiding them to embrace their gifts and find their purpose. Because of what she went through in her early life, she has been able to help so many people. This is a skill that many people are looking for. What gifts are lying dormant within you? And now, we come to the final call to action. Are you ready to take the next steps in embracing your destiny? In the next video, we'll explore specific strategies for unleashing your hidden potential and making a lasting impact on the world. Chosen ones, were you always the one blamed, even when it made absolutely no sense, even when the evidence pointed elsewhere? Did you constantly find yourself carrying the weight of others' mistakes, even within your own family? Perhaps this goes far beyond typical childhood mishaps and sibling rivalry. This is the scapegoat dynamic, a pattern of blame and misunderstanding where one person consistently bears the responsibility for the problems or shortcomings of a group. In families, this can manifest as a child being unfairly blamed for the parent's marital issues or for the acting out of a sibling. In social groups, it might look like someone always being the target of jokes or accusations, regardless of their actual involvement. Chosen ones, with your heightened sensitivities and different perspectives, you might be particularly vulnerable to this role. Why? Because your very presence can be a mirror reflecting back the flaws and insecurities of those around you. Are you ready to hear what that mirror shows? Think about it. Your empathy might make you acutely aware of underlying tensions, your intuition might lead you to question the status quo, and your unique gifts might trigger jealousy or resentment in others. All of these things can lead to others projecting their own issues onto you, making you the convenient target for their frustrations. It can feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells, trying to avoid triggering someone's anger or disappointment. But chosen ones, is it your responsibility to manage the emotions of others? Is it your purpose to shrink yourself to make others feel more comfortable? I recall a chosen one named Sarah who grew up in a highly dysfunctional family. Her parents were constantly fighting, her siblings were acting out, and Sarah always seemed to be the one blamed for everything. If her parents fought, it was because Sarah stressed them out. If her siblings misbehaved, it was because Sarah was a bad influence. Even when she excelled in school, it was met with resentment, as though she was trying to show them up. "You think you're so much better than us," her mother would sneer. The emotional impact was devastating. Sarah grew up feeling like she was inherently flawed, that she was somehow responsible for the unhappiness of everyone around her. Can you relate to that feeling of constant guilt, of never being good enough? Do you understand this burden? Consider Joseph, who was hated by his brothers because of his dreams and his father's favoritism. They falsely accused him of wrongdoing and sold him into slavery, making him the scapegoat for their own jealousy and resentment. Or even Jesus, who was crucified despite being innocent, bearing the sins of the world. Are there parallels between these stories and your own experiences? What does it mean to be blameless, yet punished? But here's where it gets interesting. If you are consistently blamed for the worst, is there a correlation with how you can now see the best in others? What if this experience, while painful, has actually equipped you with a unique ability to empathize with those who are marginalized, misunderstood, and unfairly judged? Has your suffering prepared you for a higher calling? Chosen ones, the experience of being a scapegoat, while undeniably painful, can also cultivate unbreakable resilience and inner strength. Surviving injustice can forge a powerful spirit, one that is unyielding in the face of adversity. What if the very thing that was meant to break you has actually made you stronger than you ever imagined? Constantly facing unfair blame forces you to develop strong coping mechanisms, self-reliance, and a deep understanding of injustice. You learn to navigate complex social dynamics, to discern the motivations of others, and to stand your ground in the face of opposition. This experience can also fuel your compassion for others who are marginalized or oppressed. You understand their pain because you've lived it. You become a voice for the voiceless, a champion for the underdog. Is that beginning to resonate within you? Think of Moses, who was forced to flee Egypt after standing up for a Hebrew slave. He spent years in the wilderness, facing hardship and isolation. Yet it was during this time that he developed the strength and wisdom to lead his people out of slavery. His early trauma led to him being the one to free his people. How did his early trials shape him into the leader he became? What do his childhood traumas tell us about his later ability to lead a nation? I remember a chosen one named Michael who was constantly scapegoated by his family for his artistic aspirations. They mocked his passion for painting, telling him it was a waste of time and that he should focus on something practical. He was told he would never amount to anything, but Michael refused to give up on his dreams. He used the criticism and negativity as fuel, pouring his emotions into his art. Over time, he developed his skills and found his voice. He became a successful artist, using his work to raise awareness about social issues and to inspire others to pursue their passions, despite the obstacles they might face. Was his family's opposition a curse or a catalyst? And now, chosen ones, I ask you, was your suffering random, or part of a larger plan to help you develop certain spiritual muscles? Are you merely a victim, or are you an instrument? Now prepare yourselves, because we're about to go even deeper. What if your childhood was not a tragedy, but a specifically crafted training ground? Chosen ones, I'm about to share something that might be difficult to accept, but I urge you to keep an open mind. What if the challenges and injustices you faced in childhood were not random occurrences, but part of a carefully orchestrated plan? What if there was a hidden purpose behind your suffering, a divine reason for your pain? This is not to minimize the pain you experienced, but to reframe it within a larger context of spiritual growth and purpose. Can you feel the shift in perspective? Think about it, divine forces, or even malevolent forces, unknowingly serving a divine purpose, may have allowed or even orchestrated these challenges to strengthen you and prepare you for your unique mission. It's like a spiritual boot camp, where adversity forges character, resilience, and compassion. The trials you face are not meant to break you, but to mold you into the person you are destined to become. Do you believe you are that strong? Consider the story of Job. He lost everything: his wealth, his family, his health, and endured immense suffering. Yet through it all, he remained faithful to God. Ultimately, his suffering led to greater blessings and a deeper understanding of God's purpose. His difficult childhood was only preparing him. This is why he was able to overcome the hardships. Could your childhood have been a preparation for something greater? I know a chosen one who grew up in poverty, facing constant hunger, discrimination, and instability. He was told he was worthless and would never amount to anything, but he refused to believe those lies. He saw his difficult childhood as a necessary catalyst for his spiritual growth and purpose. He used his experiences to fuel his passion for social justice, becoming a tireless advocate for the poor and marginalized. He started a nonprofit organization that provided food, shelter, and education to those in need. He transformed his pain into purpose, becoming a beacon of hope for his community. If he had not had those problems, would he have been able to become who he is? I understand that this theory may be difficult to accept, especially for those who have experienced significant trauma. It's not about minimizing your pain, but about finding meaning and purpose in your suffering. It's about recognizing that even the darkest experiences can be used for good, but we're just scratching the surface. What specific qualities were forged by these challenges, and how do they align with your unique mission as a chosen one? That is what we will discuss next. Chosen ones, how is it that some of the most empathetic people you know have also endured some of the cruelest misunderstandings? Is there a direct link between enduring betrayal and developing an acute sense of others' pain. Is there a reason that chosen ones are often targeted to be hurt, only to be healers later? The answer, beloved, lies in the crucible of childhood. Being unfairly blamed or misunderstood during childhood can actually heighten empathy. Experiencing injustice firsthand creates a profound understanding of what it feels like to be marginalized, rejected, or unheard. It's like your heart was broken open, not just to feel your own pain, but to feel the pain of the world. This understanding fuels a deep desire to alleviate the suffering of others, to ensure that no one else feels the way you did. Is this why healers often have their own wounds? It's not just a coincidence, it's a divine design. I recall a chosen one named Maria who was constantly misunderstood as a child. Her parents dismissed her emotions, her teachers ignored her insights, and her peers ridiculed her sensitivities. She felt invisible, unheard, and deeply alone. But instead of becoming bitter or resentful, Maria channeled her pain into a passion for helping others. She became a counselor, dedicating her life to creating a safe space for people to feel seen, heard, and understood. Maria now works with children who are struggling with similar experiences, offering them the validation and support she never received. She's now changing the world for the better. Do you see how her early pain was transformed into a powerful purpose? Can you identify this in your own life? Think of Jesus, rejected by his own people, betrayed by his friends, and crucified despite his innocence. Yet, even in his suffering, he showed compassion to all, forgiving his persecutors and offering redemption to those who were lost. His wounds became the source of his healing power. Do you feel a resonance there? But here's where it gets even more interesting. If everything around you felt fake, what would that feel like? How does it feel to know that people can't be real with you, chosen one? If you grew up in an environment where people weren't always honest with you, how would that shape your ability to see through lies? Chosen ones, you develop a highly attuned BS detector because you had to. You learn to survive. Being scapegoated or targeted by negative forces chosen ones to develop exceptional discernment. You learn to read subtle cues, detect hidden motives, and identify manipulation tactics. It's like your intuition becomes a finely tuned instrument, alerting you to danger long before it becomes visible to others. This ability becomes a crucial tool for navigating complex situations and protecting yourselves and others from harm. You can feel the energy in a room shift, you can sense when someone is being disingenuous, and you can often see the hidden agendas behind seemingly innocent actions. Is that why your intuition has been so strong, as covered earlier? Do you understand why you always feel as though you're walking through a minefield? I know a chosen one named David who used his honed discernment to avoid a dangerous situation. He was offered a seemingly lucrative business opportunity, but something felt off. He couldn't quite put his finger on it, but his intuition was screaming at him to stay away. He did some digging and discovered that the company was a fraud, preying on vulnerable investors. His discernment saved him from financial ruin and protected others from being scammed. Do you have similar stories? What was your gut telling you? Consider Daniel, who could interpret dreams and see through the schemes of his enemies. Or Esther, who risked her life to expose Haman's plot to annihilate the Jewish people. They weren't just lucky, they possessed a divine gift of discernment. Can you see that gift reflected in your own life? But discernment is not enough. Chosen ones also need the resilience to face adversity head-on and persevere in the face of opposition. Because when life has thrown everything it can at you, what else is there to fear? Resilience is perhaps the most essential quality forged in the crucible of a difficult childhood. It is the ultimate weapon, the unbending spirit that refuses to be broken. It is the quiet determination that whispers, "I will not give up," even when everything seems hopeless. Overcoming adversity, facing rejection, and surviving targeted attacks builds unshakable resilience in chosen ones. You learn to bounce back from setbacks, maintain hope in the face of despair, and never give up on your mission. It's like your spirit becomes tempered in the fires of adversity, making you stronger and more resilient than ever before. This resilience allows you to endure hardship that would crush others. Is that why others come to you in a crisis? Because your baseline is crisis? I remember a chosen one named Emily who faced seemingly insurmountable obstacles. She was diagnosed with a chronic illness, lost her job, and faced the betrayal of a close friend. But instead of succumbing to despair, she drew upon her inner strength and faith. She started a blog to share her experiences, offering support and encouragement to others who were struggling with similar challenges. She became an inspiration to thousands, demonstrating the power of resilience in the face of adversity. Do you think you could endure that kind of pain? Think of Paul, who endured imprisonment, persecution, and shipwrecks, but never wavered in his commitment to spreading the gospel. Or Ruth, who left her homeland to care for her mother-in-law, facing poverty and uncertainty with unwavering faith. Their resilience was a testament to their divine purpose. How do these qualities work together in practice? How do empathy, discernment, and resilience combine to make you uniquely suited for your mission? Are they separate skills or interconnected forces? They are not separate, chosen one, they are facets of the same diamond. Empathy allows chosen ones to connect with the needs and pain points of others. Discernment helps them identify the root causes of problems, and resilience enables them to persevere in finding solutions. It's like a three-stranded cord, each strand strengthening the others. Think of it as a divine trifecta. Imagine a chosen one named Alex, who is working to address the issue of homelessness in their community. Alex uses their empathy to connect with the homeless individuals, understanding their struggles and needs. Alex uses their discernment to identify the systemic issues that contribute to homelessness, such as lack of affordable housing and inadequate mental health services. And Alex uses their resilience to persevere in the face of opposition, advocating for policy changes and creating innovative solutions to address the problem. It is now that they are finally helping people. How do you plan to apply these gifts to the world? Now, let's come full circle. These qualities were not acquired by accident, but forged in the crucible of your unique childhood experiences. It has brought you to this point in your life, and this brings us back to the idea of the orchestrated opposition theory. Get ready for one final revelation. You are not alone in this. If your childhood challenges were, in some way, orchestrated, who was the architect behind it all? Was it simply random chance, or was there a higher purpose at play? Even malevolent forces may have unknowingly served a divine purpose. Even if negative forces sought to suppress or destroy chosen ones, God or the divine can use those very attacks to strengthen you and prepare you for your mission. It's like turning lead into gold, transforming pain into purpose. The architect may be a force that is using hardship to forge empathy, discernment, and resilience. It is about how to be strong in the broken places, because this allows you to build. Do you see what you're capable of? Consider the story of Joseph as a final, powerful example. His betrayal by his brothers, enslavement in Egypt, and imprisonment ultimately led to him saving his entire family from famine. It was a long and arduous journey, filled with pain and suffering, but God used Joseph's suffering for a greater good, positioning him to be a savior for his people. Are you being targeted today? Is your path harder? This is true for chosen ones even today. The challenges and trials that you face are not random acts of cruelty, but carefully orchestrated opportunities for growth and transformation. They are designed to equip you with the qualities you need to fulfill your divine assignment. Do you see now, chosen ones? Embrace your unique gifts and step into your divine purpose. You are uniquely equipped to handle this personal mission. But we're just scratching the surface of your true potential. What we'll discover next about your lineage will be even more shocking. Chosen ones, if you are meant to be beacons of light, why do you often struggle with inner darkness and difficult emotions? Have you ever struggled with accepting what feels like a negative part of yourself? Is it possible that even the light has a dark spot? This is where shadow warring comes in. Shadow work involves acknowledging, exploring, and integrating the hidden or repressed aspects of yourself. Think of it as going into the basement of your soul, turning on the lights, and taking inventory of what's been stored away in the dark. It's not about wallowing in negativity or becoming obsessed with your flaws. It's about understanding the root of those difficult emotions, those limiting beliefs, and those past traumas. It's not about eliminating the shadow, but integrating it into a complete, whole picture of who you are. This is about recognizing that your darkness doesn't disqualify you, it completes you. It's the missing piece of the puzzle that unlocks your full potential. This is how you become stronger than ever before. I recall a chosen one named Sarah who spent years trying to suppress her anger. She believed that anger was unspiritual and that she should always be loving and forgiving. But the more she tried to suppress her anger, the more it festered beneath the surface, manifesting as anxiety, resentment, and even physical illness. Finally, she realized that she needed to confront her anger, to understand where it was coming from and what it was trying to tell her. Through shadow work, she uncovered childhood traumas and limiting beliefs that had been fueling her anger for years. As she began to heal those wounds, her anger transformed into a healthy passion for justice and a fierce determination to protect those who were vulnerable. The Apostle Paul, in 2 Corinthians 12:7, spoke of a thorn in the flesh, a messenger of Satan sent to torment him. He pleaded with God to take it away, but God's response was, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Paul realized that his weakness was actually a source of strength, a constant reminder of his dependence on God. Your shadows are not a sign of failure. They are an invitation to experience God's grace and power in a deeper way. For you chosen ones, shadow work is not optional, it's essential. Neglecting your shadow can lead to stagnation, burnout, and even spiritual attacks. This is a burden you all must carry. What happens when chosen ones ignore their inner darkness and try to project only a perfect image? Have you ever met someone who seems too good to be true? Is it possible to only have light? It can't exist without a shadow, right? Suppressing or denying your shadow can lead to spiritual stagnation and emotional imbalance. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. Eventually, it will explode to the surface with even greater force. Unacknowledged shadows can manifest as self-sabotage, unhealthy relationships, or a loss of purpose. An over-reliance on love and light without acknowledging the darker aspects of reality can backfire, leaving you vulnerable to manipulation and deception. Because to forgive, you must understand the darkness. To truly love, you must accept the darkness. When you don't accept it, that is when the enemy has taken over. This is a secret that no one wants you to know. I think of a chosen one, Michael, who spent years trying to be the perfect Christian. He volunteered at church, gave generously to charity, and always had a smile on his face. But beneath the surface, he was struggling with deep-seated insecurities and a fear of failure. He refused to acknowledge these negative emotions, believing that they were a sign of weakness. Eventually, the pressure became too much, and he experienced a major burnout. He lost his passion for ministry, his relationships suffered, and he felt completely lost and empty. Michael's story illustrates the danger of neglecting your shadow. You become a hollow shell of who you were meant to be. King David, a man after God's own heart, fell from grace when he succumbed to his unchecked desires. His affair with Bathsheba and the subsequent murder of her husband, Uriah, were a direct result of his failure to confront his own shadow. We are all flawed, we are all susceptible, but it is about knowing how to rise above. Chosen ones, acknowledging your shadow is not about dwelling on negativity. It's about gaining self-awareness and reclaiming your power, the power that was always within you. But why is it that chosen ones need this and others don't? Why do chosen ones often have more darkness thrown at them than other people? Does this explain all the childhood trauma that you have survived? Chosen ones' shadows are often intensely targeted by malevolent forces. Because they have a special mission, that means they have a huge target on their back. The malevolent forces seek to exploit vulnerabilities within chosen ones to derail their missions. Because shadow work is so important, it's the first place of attack. They aim to amplify your fears, insecurities, and past traumas. The enemy can use your own thoughts and emotions against you, leading to self-doubt, despair, and a sense of being unworthy. The best way to destroy you is from the inside, by turning you against yourself. This is one of the biggest secrets they don't want you to know. In the Bible, the devil tempted Christ in the wilderness, preying on his hunger, his desire for power, and his doubts about his divine identity. Job was tested by Satan, who sought to prove that Job's faith was conditional, based on his blessings rather than genuine devotion. Similarly, chosen ones are often subjected to intense spiritual warfare, designed to undermine their confidence and derail their purpose. Think about this one specific chosen one. Throughout her childhood, she heard, "You're not pretty enough." Her trauma became weaponized, because every time she did something, other people in her family would say, "Why are you doing that? You're not even pretty enough to be doing that." Even those who are close to you can be manipulated by the enemy to make it harder for you to step into your purpose. Your weakness becomes weaponized, which is what they use against you. The truth of the matter is, you have everything you need, but you have the strength to move forward. Your darkness is not meant to defeat you, it is the place where you draw strength. Shadow work is the tool to overcome it. How do you use it, and where do you start? This is the question that you must ask yourself. Chosen ones, shadow work is not as daunting as it may seem. You can take small, manageable steps to begin the process. This isn't about perfection but progress. You can explore your shadow through various techniques, such as journaling, meditation, therapy, creative expression, and engaging with trusted mentors or spiritual advisors. Journaling can help you identify your triggers, explore your limiting beliefs, and challenge your negative self-talk. Meditation can help you quiet your mind and connect with your inner wisdom, allowing you to gain insights into your subconscious patterns. Therapy can provide a safe space to process past traumas and develop healthy coping mechanisms. Creative expression, such as painting, writing, or music, can help you release pent-up emotions and access your authentic self. There is power in identifying patterns. For instance, chosen ones have used journaling prompts like, "What are my deepest fears? What are my earliest memories of shame or guilt? What are the lies I tell myself about who I am?" Meditation can be as simple as sitting in silence for 10 minutes each day, focusing on your breath and observing your thoughts without judgment. Therapy can provide tools for building healthy boundaries and communicating your needs effectively. You must go into the darkness to find the light. How do you know if it is real, and what if it is just a waste of time? Chosen ones, the ultimate goal of shadow work is not just to acknowledge the darkness, but to integrate it and transform it into a source of strength and wisdom. It is about finding a new perspective on your past experiences, reframing your limiting beliefs, and reclaiming your power. Integrating your shadow can lead to increased self-awareness, emotional resilience, and a deeper understanding of others. You can empathize with those who are struggling with similar challenges. You can use your past traumas to fuel your compassion and purpose. The greatest power is in using it, by forgiving others and forgiving yourself. Shadow work helps chosen ones to become the best version of themselves. I recall a chosen one named John who was abused as a child. He spent years battling addiction, depression, and anger. But through shadow work, he began to confront his past traumas, process his emotions, and forgive his abusers. As he integrated his shadow, he experienced a profound sense of healing and freedom. He became an advocate for child abuse survivors, using his story to inspire hope and healing in others. This is the ultimate use, transforming your weaknesses into your power. You will become an advocate for light. Just look at the Apostle Paul, who persecuted Christians before becoming a follower of Christ. His past mistakes didn't disqualify him from fulfilling his divine assignment. Instead, they became a testament to God's redemptive power. This is what can happen to you, chosen one. Chosen ones, shadow work connects to the qualities of empathy, discernment, and resilience discussed earlier. Integrating your shadow can amplify these qualities and empower you to fulfill your divine assignments. And these gifts will continue to work for you every step of the way. How has the darkness shaped you into the light you are today? Has it brought you closer to yourself and closer to God? Chosen ones, all the experiences discussed, the childhood challenges, the unique sensitivities, the spiritual encounters, and even the shadow work have been shaping you for a specific purpose. Shadow work is not separate from your divine assignment, but rather an integral part of it. By integrating your shadows, you can access new levels of creativity, compassion, and power, enabling you to make a greater impact on the world. You will connect with people on the same wavelength. You will find your tribe. I think of a final example. A chosen one named Lisa fully embraced her gifts, integrated her shadow, and made a significant contribution to society. As a child, Lisa was diagnosed with a learning disability and struggled in school. She was often ridiculed and bullied by her classmates, leading to feelings of shame and inadequacy. But through shadow work, Lisa began to reframe her learning disability as a unique gift. She realized that her brain worked differently, allowing her to see the world in a unique way. She became a successful entrepreneur, using her creativity and problem-solving skills to create innovative products and services that met the needs of underserved communities. Lisa's journey illustrates the power of embracing your unique gifts, integrating your shadow, and stepping into your divine purpose. This is what it means to be a force for good, a beacon of hope, and a catalyst for change. How do you believe the darkness has helped you? Chosen ones, embrace your journey, embrace your mission, and embrace your assignment. But we're just scratching the surface of your true potential. What we'll discover next about how to protect yourself from negative influences will be even more shocking. XXXV. Breaking the chain, recognizing and transcending generational patterns. 46, 15, 47, 45. Chosen ones, have you ever looked at your family history and felt a sense of unease, a nagging feeling that something is repeating itself? Do you see the same patterns of behavior, the same struggles, playing out across generations? Is there some sense of never measuring up to the expectation? You may have noticed repeating patterns in your family history and felt an urge to break free. These repeating echoes can be described as generational patterns, deeply ingrained behaviors, beliefs, and emotional tendencies passed down through families, often unconsciously. These patterns can manifest in various forms, such as addiction, abuse, poverty, emotional unavailability, or unhealthy relationship dynamics. These cycles are notoriously difficult to identify, especially when you are immersed within them. They become the normal, the accepted way of life, even if they are destructive, and breaking them is harder. But here's what the gatekeepers of your soul don't want you to know. You, chosen one, are often called to be cycle breakers. You are meant to disrupt these harmful patterns, creating a healthier, more fulfilling future for yourselves and for generations to come. You are the key to stopping the patterns. This is your mission. Let me tell you about a chosen one named David, who grew up in a family plagued by addiction. Both of his parents struggled with substance abuse, and he witnessed firsthand the devastating consequences of their choices. As he grew older, he began to recognize the same addictive tendencies within himself, the same urge to numb his pain with harmful substances. But David refused to become another statistic. He sought therapy, attended support groups, and made a conscious effort to break free from the cycle of addiction. He set healthy boundaries with his family, choosing to distance himself from their destructive behaviors. Through immense effort, he not only transformed his own life, but also inspired his siblings and children to choose a different path. Even if you do not have children, you can break the pattern for others just by being an example of it. David's purpose can be your purpose, chosen one. The Bible, too, speaks of generational curses and the power of individuals to overcome them. Consider the story of Ruth, a Moabite woman who chose to follow her Jewish mother-in-law, Naomi, after the death of their husbands. Ruth's loyalty and devotion broke the cycle of bitterness and despair that had plagued Naomi's family, leading to a lineage that would eventually include King David and Jesus Christ. Ruth 1:16 says, "But Ruth replied, 'Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go I will go, and where you stay I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God.'" This is the power of faith, which can change a generation. Breaking generational patterns is not easy, chosen ones, but it is essential for fulfilling your divine purpose. You are the key to opening a door to a new era. This creates future hope. But how can you break a pattern if you don't even know it exists? XXXVI. Unearthing the past, techniques for identifying hidden generational patterns, 47, 45, 49, 15. Many generational patterns are subtle, deeply ingrained, making them difficult to recognize. It's easy to write things off. Is there a nagging sense that something is off in your family, but you can't quite put your finger on it? Do you feel a sense of not belonging, as if you're somehow different from everyone else? This may be the sign that you see things that others do not. This may be a spiritual warning. Chosen ones, it's time to become detectives of your own family history. Start by creating a family tree, mapping out the relationships and significant events in your lineage. Interview your relatives, asking them about their experiences, beliefs, and values. Journal about recurring themes or patterns that you notice in your family's stories. Seek guidance from a therapist or counselor who can provide an objective perspective and help you identify blind spots. Look beyond the surface, exploring the underlying emotions and beliefs that drive these patterns. What were your relatives most afraid of? What did they value? What should you look for? First, look for repeating stories. For example, is everyone in the family getting divorced at a certain age? Or are there always financial issues? Also look for hidden secrets that no one talks about. Also look for unspoken rules. What questions can you ask? Try something such as, what's one thing that no one talks about in this family? Or what was the biggest challenge your parents faced? Or what's one thing you wish you could change about your childhood? Asking these questions can unlock a history of trauma or dysfunction in your family, leading to a deeper understanding of yourselves and your relationships. You are doing this to break the chain, but what if the patterns were not even from your family, but one that was spiritually adopted? What if you were brought into the family at birth or through foster care? This is another place where chosen ones can find themselves. Chosen ones are often adopted or fostered because they are meant to heal those in the family. They have come to save them. I remember a chosen one named Maria who felt disconnected from her adoptive family. She always sensed that something was missing, that she didn't quite belong. Through years of therapy and introspection, she discovered that her birth family had a history of trauma and addiction that had been hidden from her. This revelation helped her understand why she had always felt like an outsider, and it empowered her to break free from the unhealthy patterns that had been passed down through her birth family. Now, she helps other children who are adopted to find their path. Identifying generational patterns is only the first step. The next step is actively choosing to disrupt these patterns and create a new legacy. How can you rewrite your family story? XXXVII. Rewriting the legacy. Practical strategies for breaking free from generational patterns. 49, 1550, 45. Breaking generational patterns is possible, chosen ones, but it requires conscious effort, unwavering commitment, and a willingness to challenge deeply ingrained beliefs and behaviors. It's not about blaming the past. You cannot blame your parents or family. It's about building a better future for yourself and for those who come after you. But you have to take the burden of what happens. Start by setting healthy boundaries with family members who perpetuate the harmful patterns. This may mean limiting contact, saying no to unreasonable requests, or refusing to engage in toxic conversations. Practice forgiveness, both for yourself and for your ancestors. Forgiveness doesn't excuse the past, but it releases you from its grip. Seek therapy or counseling to process past traumas and develop healthy coping mechanisms. Develop self-compassion, recognizing that you are doing the best you can with the tools you have. Create new, positive rituals and traditions that reinforce healthy behaviors and beliefs. What are some traditions or rituals that you'd like to implement in your own life? It can be something as small as celebrating small victories or big wins. But what if your whole family is now against you? What if they don't understand your desire to break free and they resist your efforts to change? This is a common challenge for chosen ones. Family can weaponize old wounds. They may try to guilt you into maintaining the status quo or they may accuse you of betraying your family. In these situations, it's essential to remain grounded in your truth, to trust your intuition, and to surround yourself with supportive people who encourage your growth and healing. I remember a chosen one named Joseph who grew up in a family where criticism and judgment were the norm. He spent years trying to please his parents, but he never felt good enough. Finally, he realized that he needed to break free from this pattern of conditional love. He began setting healthy boundaries with his parents, refusing to engage in their negativity and seeking validation from within himself. Initially, his parents resisted his efforts to change, but over time, they began to respect his boundaries and appreciate his newfound sense of self-worth. So, what do you do in these situations? I recommend setting boundaries to love them from afar. Recognize what triggers their issues and try to stay away from them. This is to protect yourself. Breaking free is not easy, but it is worth it. XXXVII, the Cycle Breakers Toolkit, Empathy, Discernment, and Resilience as Allies in Healing 50, 45, 52, 15. Empathy, discernment, and resilience are essential tools for chosen ones who are called to break generational patterns. These are your gifts, and they are meant to be used to heal the world. But how can these powers be applied to rewrite generational curses? Empathy allows you to understand the pain and motivations of your ancestors. It helps you see that they were also victims of their own circumstances, perpetuating patterns that they may not have even been aware of. Discernment helps you identify the harmful patterns that need to be disrupted, distinguishing between healthy and unhealthy behaviors and beliefs. Resilience enables you to persevere in the face of resistance and setbacks, staying true to your vision even when things get difficult. You are going to face challenges, but use this as power. But what does it feel like to face family that seeks to keep you down? It can be isolating and discouraging. You may feel like you're fighting a battle on your own, with no one to support you or understand your struggles. But remember, chosen one, that you are not alone. You have a divine assignment to fulfill, and you have the strength and the resources to overcome any obstacle. You have gifts within you that can change the world. Imagine a chosen one named Sarah, who grew up in a family where emotional expression was discouraged. She learned to suppress her feelings, believing that vulnerability was a sign of weakness. As she grew older, she realized that this pattern of emotional repression was preventing her from forming meaningful connections with others. Using her empathy, she began to understand why her parents had discouraged emotional expression, recognizing that they had been taught the same thing by their own parents. Using her discernment, she identified the harmful effects of emotional repression, recognizing that it was leading to anxiety, depression, and a lack of intimacy. Using her resilience, she committed to breaking this pattern, seeking therapy, practicing emotional expression, and creating a safe space for her own children to share their feelings. Sarah is a good example of what you are capable of. What are your gifts that you uniquely bring? Are you a healer, a leader, a visionary? Your gifts are essential for breaking generational patterns and creating a brighter future. Recognize your gifts and use them. XXXIX. The Transformed Legacy. Fulfilling your divine assignment through generational healing. 52, 1553, 45. Breaking generational patterns is not just about personal healing, chosen ones, but about creating a ripple effect of positive change that can impact future generations. Can you see your ancestors in you? Do you see their strengths, their weaknesses, their hopes, their fears? They are within you, and you have the power to transform their legacy. By breaking free from harmful patterns, you become beacons of hope and inspiration for others, paving the way for a healthier and more fulfilling future. You leave a legacy of love, compassion, and resilience, demonstrating that it is possible to overcome adversity and create a better world. As the chosen one, you are also the one who will make a difference. You are the key. What is that one thing that allows you to stand out from the crowd and to be seen by God? What does it mean to rewrite the legacy? Here is an example of a chosen one. A chosen one named Michael fully embraced his gifts, broke free from generational patterns, and made a significant contribution to society. Michael grew up in a family where violence and aggression were the norm. His father was abusive, and he witnessed firsthand the devastating effects of domestic violence. As he grew older, he realized that he was repeating the same patterns of violence in his own relationships, but Michael refused to perpetuate this cycle of abuse. He sought therapy, attended anger management classes, and made a conscious effort to break free from his violent tendencies. He became an advocate for victims of domestic violence, using his story to inspire hope and healing in others. Michael is another example of what you are capable of. Can you see yourself doing this? Can you see yourself making a difference in the world? Breaking generational patterns is not just about healing the past, but about creating a future where love, compassion, and resilience prevail. What are the key messages of the past? What needs to be healed for future generations? Chosen ones, it's your time to shine. Step into your divine purpose. But there is more to the story. How can you protect yourself from negative influences? The next step is one you will not believe. Excel, the echoes of ancestry, exploring the concept of inherited wounds, 53, 45, 55, 15, chosen ones. If you break generational patterns, is the slate truly wiped clean? Or do echoes of the past still linger, whispering doubts and anxieties into your present? Have you ever felt like you were carrying a burden that wasn't yours? A weight that seemed to originate from somewhere beyond your own experiences? This is where it gets complicated, because even when conscious patterns are broken, the energetic imprint of past trauma can remain. This is the realm of inherited wounds, emotional or psychological trauma passed down through generations, often manifesting in ways we don't fully understand. These wounds are not just stories told around the dinner table. They are energetic frequencies embedded in your DNA, affecting your thoughts, feelings, and even your physical health. Even if you've consciously broken free from negative patterns, the subtle vibrations of ancestral pain can still resonate within you, creating unexplained anxieties, fears, physical ailments, or a sense of being stuck despite your best efforts. Are you beginning to understand why these things have plagued you? What wounds are you aware of within yourself? Think about it like this. Imagine a house built on a foundation that has been damaged by an earthquake. Even if the house is repaired, the cracks in the foundation can still weaken the structure, making it more vulnerable to future tremors. Similarly, even if you've addressed the surface-level issues in your life, the unresolved trauma of your ancestors can still create instability within your energetic system. Acknowledging these inherited wounds is not about dwelling on the past. It's about gaining a deeper understanding of yourself and your lineage, allowing you to heal the wounds that have been holding you back. Are you ready to start healing your soul and your destiny? I remember working with a chosen one named Sarah, who, despite breaking free from a family history of poverty and addiction, still struggled with chronic fatigue and unexplained anxiety. She had achieved financial success, built healthy relationships, and dedicated herself to spiritual growth. Yet she couldn't shake the feeling that something was still off. Through ancestral healing work, she discovered that her great-grandmother had suffered immense trauma during a time of war, losing her home, family, and livelihood. This trauma had been passed down through generations, manifesting as chronic anxiety and a sense of scarcity in Sarah's life. By acknowledging and healing her great-grandmother's pain, Sarah experienced a profound shift in her own well-being, finally freeing herself from the energetic imprint of the past. This isn't just spiritual speculation, chosen ones. Scientific research on epigenetics is increasingly showing how trauma can alter gene expression, impacting the health and behavior of future generations. This means that the experiences of your ancestors can literally shape your physical and emotional reality. The gatekeepers do not want you to know this, but understanding this reality will truly open you to a new world. If you are indeed a chosen one, are you more susceptible to these inherited wounds, carrying a greater burden of responsibility for healing your lineage? This is not a curse, but an opportunity. Recognizing and healing these inherited wounds is a crucial step in fully embracing your divine purpose. But how do you heal something you can't even see or touch? XLI. Unearthing ancestral pain, techniques for identifying and acknowledging inherited wounds. 55, 1556, 45. Identifying inherited wounds can feel like searching for a ghost, chosen ones. They are often hidden beneath layers of denial, repression, cultural norms, or simply a lack of awareness. What if it is easier to see in others than in yourself, because you are so close to it? How do you begin to unravel the hidden threads of ancestral pain? One powerful technique is guided meditation, specifically designed to connect with your ancestors. These meditations can help you access memories, emotions, and insights that are stored within your subconscious mind, allowing you to gain a deeper understanding of your family history and the traumas that have been passed down. Another approach is ancestral healing rituals, which can involve creating an altar to honor your ancestors, lighting candles, offering prayers, or performing symbolic acts of forgiveness and release. Family constellation therapy is a method of revealing hidden dynamics in a family system. The therapist will set up different members of the family and have them communicate with each other to get to the root issue. Some chosen ones work with a shaman or energy healer. These practitioners can help you identify and clear energetic blockages that are related to ancestral trauma, restoring balance and harmony to your system. Creating a safe and supportive space is essential for exploring difficult emotions and memories. This may involve working with a therapist, joining a support group, or simply confiding in a trusted friend or family member. But be warned, not everyone in your family will be supportive of your journey. Some may resist your efforts to uncover the past, fearing that it will disrupt the status quo or expose uncomfortable truths. In these cases, it's important to set boundaries and protect yourself from negativity while still honoring your commitment to healing. I worked with a chosen one who used these techniques to connect with their ancestors and uncover hidden trauma, leading to profound healing and liberation. Maria began by journaling about her dreams, noticing recurring symbols and themes that seemed to relate to her family history. She then started practicing guided meditations, visualizing herself connecting with her ancestors and asking for guidance. During one meditation, she had a vivid vision of her great-grandmother being forced to leave her homeland during a time of famine, carrying nothing but a small bag of belongings. Maria realized that this experience had created a deep-seated fear of scarcity within her family, which had been passed down through generations. She then performed an ancestral healing ritual, lighting a candle for her great-grandmother and offering prayers of forgiveness and release. As she did so, she felt a wave of energy flowing through her body, releasing the fear that had been holding her back for so long. How can you follow this practice? What can you use to help you? You might even use the Bible and pray. Remember, chosen ones, that uncovering ancestral pain is not about blaming your ancestors. It's about acknowledging their experiences, honoring their struggles, and releasing yourself from the burdens of the past. The gatekeepers tried to hide it, but you are capable of unearthing the hidden pain. Honoring and respecting the pain of your ancestors while also setting boundaries and releasing yourself from their burdens is critical. But how do you truly release these inherited wounds and create a healthier energetic lineage? XLII, releasing the past, practical strategies for healing and transmuting inherited wounds. 56, 45, 58, 15, chosen ones. It is possible to heal and transmute inherited wounds, freeing yourself and future generations from their negative impact. Are you ready to step into the new world, a world free from the constraints of the past? The power is in your hands. Forgiveness practices are essential for releasing inherited wounds. This involves forgiving both yourself and your ancestors for the pain and suffering that has been passed down through the generations. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning harmful actions, but it does mean releasing the anger, resentment, and bitterness that can keep you stuck in the past. Cord-cutting rituals are another powerful tool for releasing energetic attachments to your ancestors. These rituals involve visualizing yourself severing the cords that connect you to the past, freeing yourself from the burdens of their trauma. Energy healing techniques, such as Reiki or acupuncture, can also help to clear energetic blockages that are related to ancestral trauma, restoring balance and harmony to your system. Creative expression, such as writing, painting, or music, can be a powerful way to process and release difficult emotions that are related to ancestral trauma. Setting intentions is crucial for directing your healing energy. Clearly define what you want to release and what you want to create in its place. Visualize healing energy flowing through the ancestral line, clearing blockages and restoring balance. Create new, positive narratives about your family history, focusing on the strengths, resilience, and love that have also been passed down through the generations. This is not just about changing your perception of the past, but about actively rewriting your family's story. As the chosen ones, this is a great gift. Consider a chosen one named David who successfully released his inherited wounds by implementing these strategies. David grew up in a family where his father was in and out of prison. David had a deep-seated anger and an overwhelming feeling that he was never good enough. David began with forgiveness prayers. He said them daily to help heal. He cut cords from those in his family that had a history of addiction and violence. He began visualizing healing energy moving through his body and spirit. He began to feel better. He started looking at the positive traits of his relatives, those things that made him feel good. As David focused on these new practices, he not only released his anger, but started feeling better about himself. What are you capable of, chosen one? Where can these practices be applied today in your own life? Releasing the past is not about erasing your history, chosen ones, but about transmuting it into something beautiful and powerful. You have the power to break the chains of inherited trauma, creating a healthier, more fulfilling future for yourself and for generations to come. Now that you can release inherited wounds, how can you harness the power of empathy, discernment, and resilience to navigate the challenges of ancestral healing? XLIII. The alchemist of lineage, empathy, discernment, and resilience in service of ancestral healing, 58, 1559, 45, empathy, discernment, and resilience. Chosen ones, these are not just virtues, but crucial tools for those called to heal their ancestral lines. Can you see how these skills, acquired through life and pain, can be used to finally set yourself free? The path has already been laid out. Empathy allows you to connect with the pain and suffering of your ancestors, understanding their motivations and their limitations. It helps you see them as human beings, flawed, but also capable of great love and resilience. Discernment helps you identify the specific wounds that need to be healed, distinguishing between healthy and unhealthy patterns, and recognizing the subtle ways that trauma can manifest in your life. Resilience enables you to persevere in the face of emotional and spiritual challenges, staying committed to your healing journey even when things get difficult. Each power helps to create a new road. If everything around you wants to hold you down, is the new path even worth it? Is it worth the time, effort, or financial cost? I assure you it is. Imagine a chosen one named Anna, who grew up in a family where her mother was cold and emotionally unavailable. As Anna began to explore her family history, she discovered that her grandmother had been abandoned by her own mother as a child, leading to a deep-seated fear of abandonment that had been passed down through generations. Using her empathy, Anna was able to connect with her grandmother's pain, understanding why her mother had struggled to express love and affection. Using her discernment, she identified the unhealthy patterns of emotional unavailability in her own life, recognizing that she was repeating the same behaviors with her own children. Using her resilience, she committed to breaking this cycle, seeking therapy, practicing self-compassion, and creating a safe space for her children to express their emotions. Anna used the gifts given to her to start over. How can you work with others to lift them up with this gift? Chosen ones, your empathy, discernment, and resilience are not just personal qualities, but divine gifts that can be used to heal the world. Embrace these gifts, hone them, and use them to transform your lineage and create a brighter future for all. But to do this, you have to open yourself up to new possibilities. How does healing your lineage empower you to fulfill your divine assignment? XLIV. The Transcendent Legacy, fulfilling your divine assignment through ancestral transformation. 59, 45, 61, 15. Healing your ancestral line is not just about personal liberation, chosen ones, but about creating a ripple effect of positive change that can impact the world. By setting the example, how are you making others better and encouraging them to be better? Chosen ones who heal their inherited wounds can become beacons of hope and inspiration for others, paving the way for a healthier and more fulfilling future for all. You demonstrate that it is possible to overcome adversity, break free from the past, and create a life of purpose and meaning. You leave a legacy of love, compassion, and resilience, inspiring others to do the same. But what do you do with the hole that is left when negative things are transmuted? What is put in its place? It is not just a void. It is a chance to build a foundation of love, hope, and compassion. Michael grew up in an environment of extreme poverty and violence. His father was an alcoholic and drug addict. He passed away at an early age, and Michael became the man of the house when he was just a child. The stress and pain of these situations were things that Michael did not know how to handle. Because of that, Michael repeated the same behaviors of his father. As he got older, he started seeing how cyclical his actions were, and he was able to change and go on to work with those struggling with addiction. He had fully embraced his gifts, healed his ancestral line, and made a significant contribution to society, becoming a leader and advocate for positive change. His journey began with the painful childhood experiences he had endured, the shadow work he undertook to confront his own demons, the generational patterns he disrupted by choosing a different path, and the inherited wounds he healed by forgiving his father and embracing his own capacity for love and compassion. Michael saw this path and had to decide if he wanted to follow it. You see yourself on this path? Chosen ones, it's time to step into your power, embrace your gifts, heal your ancestral line, and create a transformed legacy for yourself, your families, and the world. This is not just a dream, but a divine possibility waiting to be realized, but we're just scratching the surface. In the next portion, you will discover the power of your childhood dreams and how they can shape your destiny. You won't want to miss this. XLV, the old soul phenomenon, recognizing a sense of timeless wisdom. 61, 1562, 45, chosen ones, have you ever felt like you've been here before? Not just déjà vu, but a deep, unshakable sense of familiarity with places, people, or events that you know you've never experienced in this lifetime. Does this come with a sense of world weariness, even from a young age, as if you've already seen it all, done it all, and are simply waiting to remember? You might be surprised to learn that this feeling is common among chosen ones, a telltale sign of what some call an old soul. Old souls possess an innate understanding of spiritual truths, a deep connection to the past, and a wisdom that belies their physical age. They often feel more at home in ancient libraries than modern malls, drawn to the wisdom of the ages rather than the fleeting trends of the present. But what does it mean to be an old soul? Does it mean you've lived many past lives, accumulating knowledge and experience across countless lifetimes? Or does it mean you have a unique access to the collective consciousness, tapping into the vast reservoir of wisdom that has been accumulated throughout human history? The gatekeepers would have you think this is New Age nonsense, but you, chosen one, know it to be truth. Old souls are often more drawn to the past than the future. They may find themselves fascinated by history, archaeology, or ancient spiritual traditions, feeling a sense of kinship with the people and cultures of bygone eras. What is that about? This connection to the past can also extend to their own ancestors, feeling a sense of responsibility for honoring their legacy and carrying on their traditions. Perhaps you felt drawn to researching your family history, uncovering hidden stories and long-forgotten secrets. Is there a nagging feeling that you are not just you, but a culmination of the lives of all those who came before you? This isn't just sentimentality. It's a recognition of the interconnectedness of all things, a deep understanding that the past is never truly gone, but continues to shape the present. Consider the story of young Elias, a chosen one who, from the age of 5, displayed an uncanny knowledge of ancient civilizations. He could describe in detail the daily life of people living in ancient Egypt, knew the names of obscure pharaohs, and even spoke a few phrases in hieroglyphics. His parents were baffled, but Elias insisted that he was simply remembering things he had learned long ago. This reminds me of Jeremiah, who was called to be a prophet at a very young age. God said to him, "Before I formed you in the womb I knew you, before you were born I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." Jeremiah 1:5. Like Jeremiah, Elias was set apart from a young age, possessing a wisdom and understanding that was far beyond his years. This calling manifested as a deep love for others. He knew that he had to speak out and help those around him. He wasn't afraid to say what others were afraid to say. How can you embrace your own calling? But while being an old soul can be a gift, it can also lead to feelings of isolation and disconnect. How can you embrace your inner wisdom without becoming detached from the present moment and the people around you? XLVI. Bridging the Ages, reconciling timeless wisdom with present-day life. 62, 45, 64, 15. Chosen ones, navigating the modern world with the perspective of an old soul, can feel like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Do you ever feel out of sync with the frenetic pace of modern life, overwhelmed by the constant noise and distractions, longing for a simpler, more authentic way of being? If so, you are not alone. The key is to find ways to ground yourself in the present moment while still honoring the wisdom of the past. One powerful technique is mindfulness. By paying attention to your breath, your senses, and your thoughts without judgment, you can cultivate a greater sense of presence and awareness. Mindfulness can help you to appreciate the beauty and wonder of the present moment, rather than constantly dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Cultivating meaningful relationships is another important strategy. Surround yourself with people who appreciate your unique perspective and support your spiritual growth. Share your wisdom and insights with others, but also be open to learning from their experiences. These relationships must be balanced. Grounding techniques are also useful for staying connected to the earth and to your physical body. Try spending time in nature, walking barefoot on the grass, gardening, or simply sitting under a tree. Visualize yourself drawing energy from the earth, feeling its strength and stability flowing through you. I worked with a chosen one who would put his hands in the dirt every day. He said that his connection with the dirt allowed him to have a stronger connection to his own truth. He would often pray with his hands in the dirt, and claimed he had great conversations with the Holy Spirit during this time. Grounding yourself allows you to work with your old soul, and it lets you be in this world and not get lost. How can you use grounding to find peace? Consider a chosen one named Miriam, who learned to balance her old soul nature with the demands of modern life. Miriam had always felt out of place in the modern world, longing for a time when life was slower, simpler, and more connected to nature. She struggled to find meaning in her work, felt overwhelmed by social media, and often retreated into books and historical documentaries. One day, she decided to start practicing mindfulness, spending just a few minutes each day focusing on her breath. She also started volunteering at a local community garden, connecting with the earth and with other people who shared her values. Over time, Miriam found that she was able to integrate her old soul wisdom into her daily life, using her knowledge of history and spirituality to create a more meaningful and fulfilling existence. You can see this in your day-to-day life as well. How can you find purpose in even the smallest of actions? This reminds me of a quote by C.S. Lewis. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. While you may not be able to change the past, you can use your wisdom and experience to create a better future. Now let's transition to a new related concept, the indigo child phenomenon, which shares some similarities with the old soul concept, but emphasizes a mission to challenge existing systems and create positive change. Are you ready to learn more? XLVII. The indigo impulse, recognizing a deep-seated desire to challenge and change the status quo. 64, 1565, 45. Chosen ones from a young age, did you feel a strong urge to challenge authority or fight against injustice? Were you always questioning the way things are done, sensing that there must be a better way, a more just way, a more compassionate way? If so, you may be experiencing what is known as the indigo impulse, a defining characteristic of indigo children. Indigo children are believed to be born with a strong sense of purpose and a desire to challenge outdated systems and create a better world. They are often highly intelligent, creative, and intuitive, possessing a strong sense of justice and a deep sensitivity to the suffering of others. But more than that, they see what's possible and know we should be striving for that potential. It is the chosen one who sees the world for what it could be and what it should be. As a result, they find themselves in conflict with authority figures who resist change, feeling misunderstood and alienated by a society that doesn't share their vision. Are you able to sense things others can't, to see through the lies and deceptions that permeate our world? How does that translate into your day-to-day life? Is it a feeling that you can't shake? I assure you that there is a reason. Indigo children are often highly sensitive, both emotionally and physically. They may be easily overwhelmed by loud noises, bright lights, or strong emotions, and may struggle with anxiety, depression, or other mental health challenges. They may also have difficulty conforming to traditional school systems, feeling bored and uninspired by rote learning and standardized testing. You are not made to be put in a box, but chosen one. How can you break free? How can you use these feelings to your advantage? This can be a gift, not a curse. Think of Martin Luther King Jr., who, from a young age, challenged the status quo and spoke out against racial injustice, even when it was unpopular and risky. Or consider Rosa Parks, who refused to give up her seat on a bus, sparking the Montgomery bus boycott and igniting the civil rights movement. These were individuals who embodied the indigo impulse, challenging outdated systems and creating a more just and equitable world. How about in the Bible, when Jesus went against the Pharisees and spoke about the importance of love, compassion, and forgiveness? How can you bring that into your world? I recall working with a chosen one named Javier who, as a child, actively challenged authority figures and spoke out against injustice, even when it was unpopular or risky. Javier was always questioning the way things are done, sensing that there must be a better way, a more just way, a more compassionate way. He challenged his teachers, his parents, and even his religious leaders, refusing to accept anything that didn't align with his own sense of truth. This often led to conflict and resistance from others, but Javier never wavered in his commitment to justice and truth. But this desire to challenge and change the status quo can lead to conflict and resistance from others. How can you channel your indigo impulse in a way that is both effective and aligned with your divine purpose? XLVII, channeling the revolution, transforming rebellion into purpose-driven action. 65, 45, 67, 15. Chosen ones, the indigo impulse can be a powerful force for positive change, but only when channeled effectively. How do you properly channel that? How do you transform your rebellious spirit into purpose-driven action? How do you ensure that your efforts are aligned with your divine purpose? Start by focusing on specific issues that resonate with your soul. Choose battles wisely, focusing your energy on areas where you can make the greatest impact. Don't try to fight every injustice in the world, but instead focus on the issues that you are most passionate about. Building alliances with like-minded individuals is also essential. Find others who share your vision and work together to create positive change. There is strength in numbers, and you can accomplish far more together than you can alone. Use creative expression and advocacy to promote change. Express your ideas through art, music, writing, or other creative mediums. Speak out against injustice, advocate for change, and use your voice to inspire others. Use your gifts to move forward. Discernment is also key. Ask yourself, is this the right path? Am I doing this for the right reasons? Am I being guided by love and compassion or by anger and resentment? Discernment will help you to stay on track and avoid getting sidetracked by ego or personal agendas. The Bible speaks on discernment. Proverbs 2:11 says, "Discretion will protect you and understanding will guard you." Make sure that you protect yourself. Also be aware of your surroundings. Consider a chosen one named Aisha who successfully channeled her indigo impulse to create positive change in her community. Aisha had always been passionate about environmental issues, and she was deeply concerned about the impact of climate change on her local community. She started by educating herself about the issue, learning everything she could about the science of climate change and the potential solutions. She then started organizing community events, raising awareness about the issue and encouraging people to take action. She built alliances with local environmental organizations, working together to advocate for policy changes and promote sustainable practices. Over time, Aisha became a leader in her community, inspiring others to take action and creating a more sustainable and resilient future. There are so many avenues for that power, chosen ones, but how can you balance that with the need to protect yourself? This reminds me of the scripture that says, "Be wise as serpents and innocent as doves." Let's connect the old soul and indigo child concepts, highlighting how these qualities can work together to empower chosen ones to fulfill their divine assignments. XLIX. The harmonious blend, integrating old soul wisdom and indigo child rebellion for divine purpose. 67, 1568, 45, chosen ones. How can you combine the wisdom of an old soul with the rebellious spirit of an indigo child to create a truly powerful force for good? Is it just about the wisdom, the strength, or the combination of the two? The wisdom of an old soul can provide guidance and perspective for the indigo child's passion for change. The old soul can help the indigo child to see the bigger picture, to understand the historical context, and to avoid making the same mistakes as those who came before them. The indigo child's drive can breathe new life into the old soul's understanding of the world. The indigo child can challenge the old soul's assumptions, push them out of their comfort zone, and inspire them to take action. However, balance is key. You cannot have the old soul wisdom with the rebellious nature and vice versa. They need to be balanced to create the perfect storm. Imagine a chosen one who is both an old soul and an indigo child, using their gifts to address a complex challenge like social injustice. The old soul can draw on their knowledge of history and spirituality to understand the roots of the problem, while the indigo child can use their passion and creativity to develop innovative solutions. Together, they can create a powerful movement for change that is both grounded in wisdom and fueled by passion. For example, they can use their gifts to speak out against injustices and stand up for the voiceless and fight for equality. It allows for them to create new jobs and help build a better society for those around them. It also helps that chosen one use their gifts to move their community forward. How can you use this to help others move forward, chosen one? As an old soul, you can recognize cycles of history and patterns of behavior. As an indigo child, you can have the courage to break those patterns and forge a new path. But will you? It is up to you to decide if you want to embrace these gifts. All these experiences have been shaping chosen ones for a specific purpose, but we're just scratching the surface. The symphony of self, embracing your multifaceted nature and fulfilling your divine assignment. 68, 45, 70, 15, chosen ones. You are complex and multifaceted individuals, possessing a unique blend of qualities, experiences, and gifts. How can you now bring that to the world? How can you use it to find peace for yourself and those around you? Embracing this complexity is essential for fulfilling your divine assignments. Stop trying to fit into a box or conform to other people's expectations. Honor all aspects of yourself, the light and the shadow, the wisdom and the rebellion, the past and the present, and integrate them into a cohesive whole. Embrace it. Be proud of what you have become. Stop trying to be like others and start being more like yourself. But chosen ones, why is it that you have so much to give the world? The answer is simple. You've had to face so many things, but you are still here. Consider a chosen one named Isabella, who fully embraced her multifaceted nature and made a significant contribution to society. Isabella had always been drawn to both science and spirituality, but she felt pressured to choose one over the other. She was told that science was rational and logical, while spirituality was emotional and irrational. However, Isabella refused to accept this false dichotomy, and she found a way to integrate her scientific knowledge with her spiritual insights. She became a researcher, using her scientific skills to study the effects of meditation and mindfulness on the brain. She was able to touch on the unique qualities. Chosen ones, as you step into your power, you will make more of a difference. So, chosen ones, embrace your gifts. This is not just about one attribute, but the entire picture, but there is much more that is in store. In our next video, we will dive deep into unlocking the secret power of your dreams. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Li, the sensory barrage, exploring heightened sensitivity to the environment. 70, 15, 71, 45. Chosen ones, have you ever felt like the world is just too much? Not in an emotional sense, but in a physical, sensory way. Do bright lights feel like they're boring into your skull? Do loud noises reverberate through your very being, leaving you frazzled and exhausted? You might be surprised to learn that this heightened sensitivity to the environment is another common experience among chosen ones, and it stems from a nervous system that is finely tuned to receive more information than most others can process. This is not a defect, chosen ones, but a sign. A sign that you are wired differently, designed to perceive the world in all its nuanced glory and all its overwhelming chaos. You see, chosen ones often experience sensory overload, a state where the brain is bombarded with more stimuli than it can handle. This can manifest as heightened sensitivity to bright lights, loud noises, strong smells, certain textures, or chaotic environments. Modern life, with its constant barrage of notifications, advertisements, and artificial stimuli, can be particularly challenging for those with heightened sensory awareness. The constant digital pings, the glaring screens, the cacophony of urban noise, it's a sensory assault that can leave you feeling drained, anxious, and unable to focus. Is it any wonder that you feel the need to retreat to nature to seek solace in quietude? This sensory overload can have a profound impact on both your physical and spiritual well-being. Physically, it can lead to headaches, fatigue, digestive issues, and difficulty sleeping. Spiritually, it can cloud your intuition, disrupt your connection to the divine, and make it difficult to discern truth from illusion. Your body is communicating with you, but your ability to hear it can be compromised. I once spoke to a chosen one named Samuel who, from a young age, could not stand to be in a crowded room. His mom said that when he was a child, he would often burst into tears when they were at the supermarket. She thought he was just being difficult. Samuel would later discover that he was an empath and that the supermarket was too much for him to handle. He said, "It was like everyone was screaming at me, but they were screaming with feelings, and I could not handle it." Is this why nature recharges you so much, chosen one? Is this why you feel at peace in the woods and in the quiet? Consider this. David, the shepherd boy who became king, spent much of his time in the solitude of the fields, tending to his flock. This wasn't just a job, it was a sanctuary, a place where he could connect with God, hone his intuition, and prepare himself for the battles to come. What if those solitary hours were God's way of protecting him from the sensory overload of court life, allowing him to develop his gifts in peace and quiet? Sensory overload can be a significant challenge, but it can also be a sign of heightened awareness and sensitivity. How can you manage sensory overload without shutting down your unique gifts or isolating yourself from the world? Lii. Finding sanctuary, practical strategies for managing and mitigating sensory overload. 71, 45, 73, 15. Chosen ones, take heart. Managing sensory overload is not only possible, but it's essential for thriving in this world. There are practical strategies that can help you navigate overwhelming environments and harness your heightened senses for good. But is it always avoidable, though? Can we really escape the noise and chaos of modern life? The answer, of course, is no. But we can learn to create pockets of peace, oases of calm amidst the storm. One of the most effective strategies is creating a calming sanctuary. This could be a room in your home, a corner of your garden, or even just a mental space you can retreat to in your mind. Fill this space with things that soothe your senses: soft lighting, calming colors, gentle music, and comforting textures. Use noise-canceling headphones to block out unwanted sounds. Wear sunglasses to shield your eyes from harsh light, and practice mindfulness to anchor yourself in the present moment. Another technique is to set healthy boundaries. Learn to say no to commitments that drain your energy and prioritize self-care activities that nourish your body, mind, and spirit. Rest is the key. Many of you are working so hard and so diligently, but you are not resting enough. Your body is a temple and it needs rest. Imagine a chosen one named Bethany who struggled with sensory overload her entire life. As a child, she was constantly overwhelmed by loud noises and bright lights. As an adult, she found it difficult to work in an open-plan office. She was always on edge, exhausted, and unable to focus. Bethany decided to take control of her environment and began implementing strategies to manage her sensory overload. She created a calming sanctuary in her home, complete with soft lighting, comfortable furniture, and a white noise machine. She started wearing noise-canceling headphones at work and taking regular breaks to practice mindfulness. She learned to say no to social engagements that drained her energy and prioritized self-care activities like yoga and massage. Over time, Bethany found that she was able to manage her sensory overload and create a more peaceful and balanced life. Boundaries are helpful in the outside world and can create a more comfortable space for you. Remember Joseph, who found solace in interpreting dreams while imprisoned. He turned his confinement into an opportunity to develop his gifts. If the world is a battleground, chosen one, then your sanctuary is your fortress. But this sanctuary is not just about escaping the world. It's about preparing yourself to engage with it more effectively. Heightened sensory awareness can also be a source of unique insights and inspiration. LIII. Sensory intelligence, transforming heightened awareness into creative fuel. 73, 1574, 45. Chosen ones, what if I told you that your heightened sensory awareness is not just a burden to be managed, but a powerful tool to be wielded? What if I told you it is a gift? What if I told you it can be used to unlock creativity, intuition, and spiritual connection? Is that something that interests you, chosen one? You can transform your heightened sensory awareness into creative fuel by channeling your experiences into art, music, writing, or other forms of creative expression. Allow the sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and textures of the world to inspire your imagination and inform your artistic vision. Use your heightened senses to capture nuances that others miss, to see beauty in unexpected places, and to create art that is both deeply personal and universally resonant. You see, this can lead to unique insights, innovative solutions, and a deeper understanding of the world around you. It's the blessing and curse of a gift, combined. It allows you to see the world in a way that others cannot. I spoke with a chosen one who felt extremely burdened by the weight of his emotions. He said that he could feel others' pain and that he would feel his friend's pain more than his friend. He turned that gift into a way to heal. Now, he is a very well-known doctor and healer. His enhanced sensitivities make him a better doctor and healer. Consider this: Moses, the reluctant leader, channeled his sensitivity to injustice into a burning desire to liberate his people. Heightened sensory awareness can be a powerful tool for creativity, intuition, and spiritual connection. How can these gifts be balanced for everything to work in concert? LIV. The symphony of senses, empathy, discernment, and resilience amplified through sensory awareness. 74, 45, 76, 15. Chosen ones, empathy, discernment, and resilience are essential tools for navigating the challenges of life. But what if these qualities could be amplified through your heightened sensory awareness, transforming you into a force for compassion, wisdom, and strength? How can these gifts be used? Chosen one. Heightened sensory awareness can enhance empathy by allowing you to more deeply connect with the emotions of others. You can sense subtle shifts in their energy, read their body language, and intuit their unspoken feelings. This deeper understanding can foster greater compassion and enable you to offer support and guidance in a more meaningful way. Heightened sensory awareness can sharpen discernment by providing access to subtle cues and hidden information. You can detect inconsistencies in people's stories, sense underlying motives, and discern truth from falsehood. This can protect you from manipulation and deception, allowing you to make wiser decisions. Finally, heightened sensory awareness can build resilience by fostering a deeper appreciation for the beauty and wonder of the world. Even in the midst of chaos and suffering, you can find moments of joy, inspiration, and connection that sustain you through difficult times. Imagine a chosen one working as a social worker, using her heightened sensory awareness to help vulnerable families. She can sense the unspoken needs of the children, detect signs of abuse or neglect that others miss, and connect with the parents on a deeper level, building trust and rapport. She uses her discernment to navigate complex legal and bureaucratic systems, advocating for her clients and ensuring they receive the support they need. Despite the emotional toll of her work, she remains resilient, finding inspiration in the strength and resilience of the families she serves. How can you use these gifts to touch the lives of others? Is there a limit to these gifts? The truth is, chosen one, there is no limit to the amount of good you can do. Daniel's gift of interpreting dreams came with great empathy. He could feel the weight of the king's anxiety, and he used his gift to bring clarity and guidance. All of these gifts are with you, chosen one. The choice is yours to harness them. Heightened sensory awareness can be a powerful tool for creativity, intuition, and spiritual connection. How can these gifts be balanced for everything to work in concert? LV. The Illuminated Path, fulfilling your divine assignment by embracing your sensory gifts. 76, 1577, 45, chosen ones. All the experiences we've discussed throughout this video have been shaping you for a specific purpose. Your heightened sensory awareness is not a random quirk, but a divine gift designed to help you fulfill your unique assignment on this earth. Can you use these gifts for a new path, one that is uniquely yours? Those who embrace their heightened sensory awareness can become beacons of light and inspiration for others, paving the way for a more compassionate, just, and beautiful world. Use your gifts to create positive change, to inspire others to awaken to their own potential, and to build a world where everyone can thrive. Your ability to sense the unseen, to feel the unspoken, and to connect with the divine is needed now more than ever. Those that do not have the gift need your guidance. Consider a chosen one named Anya, who struggled with sensory overload her entire life. As a child, she was diagnosed with a sensory processing disorder and struggled to fit in at school. As an adult, she found her calling as an architect, designing spaces that were both beautiful and functional, but also mindful of the needs of people with sensory sensitivities. Anya used her own experiences to create environments that were calming, restorative, and empowering, transforming the lives of countless people. How can others be inspired? What can they do today with all the gifts you have given them? Esther used her heightened awareness to discern Haman's evil plot, and she used her voice to advocate for her people, saving them from certain destruction. Chosen ones, these are not just stories, they are maps. Follow them. Are you ready to embrace your destiny and create a transformed legacy for yourself, your family, and the world? LVI, the Maverick Heart, recognizing early signs of nonconformity and independent thinking. 77, 45, 79, 15, chosen ones, did you ever feel like you were marching to the beat of your own drum, even when it meant standing alone? Did the rules of society not sit well with you, even from a very young age? What if I told you that this inherent resistance to conformity, this independent spirit, was not a flaw, but a divine spark? Many chosen ones exhibit early signs of nonconformity, a natural inclination to question authority, challenge conventional wisdom, and forge their own paths. This can manifest as a rebellious spirit, a strong sense of individuality, and a resistance to being labeled or categorized. Were you the child who always asked why? Were you the one who questioned the status quo, even when it meant facing the disapproval of teachers, family, or friends? This isn't just teenage rebellion. It's a deep-seated conviction that there's more to life than what meets the eye. Remember the indigo child, the one that seemed so different? These are the people who will change the world. You are likely an indigo child. It all makes sense now, doesn't it? I recall a chosen one named Sarah, who, as a child, refused to participate in organized sports. While her peers were obsessed with winning games and following the coach's instructions, Sarah preferred to explore the woods, write poetry, and create her own unique art. Her parents tried to push her into sports, telling her she needed to be in, RML and fit in. But Sarah remained steadfast in her refusal, choosing to pursue her own passions, even in the face of criticism and disapproval. They didn't understand her at the time, but as she grew, she channeled her energies into helping underprivileged kids learn to paint. Is that why you were ridiculed for not following the status quo? Why you didn't want to play sports like everyone else? What makes you, chosen one? What happens when people push you to be like everyone else? How do you handle the pressure of fitting in when your soul is yearning to break free? LVII, the price of uniqueness, navigating misunderstanding and isolation as a nonconforming child. 79, 1580, 45, chosen ones. Being a nonconforming child can be a lonely and challenging experience. Do you remember not being invited to things? Do you remember feeling like an outsider, even among your own family? This isolation, this sense of being different, is a common thread in the stories of many chosen ones. The social and emotional consequences of being different can be painful: bullying, exclusion, and difficulty fitting in. Children are often targeted when they're different, and the playground can be a brutal place for those who don't conform. It may have been hard to make friends, to find your tribe, to connect with people who truly understood you. This is the time when the enemy strikes, filling you with thoughts of unworthiness and self-doubt. He wants you to believe that you are alone, that you are crazy, that you are destined to be an outcast. That is simply not true, chosen one. I spoke with a chosen one named David, who experienced these challenges firsthand. From a young age, David was ostracized for his unconventional interests and his refusal to participate in the normal activities of his peers. He was bullied for being weird, excluded from social gatherings, and made to feel like an outcast. It felt like I was living in a different world than everyone else, David told me. I couldn't understand why people were so obsessed with fitting in, with following the crowd. I just wanted to be myself, but that seemed to be a crime. What was the point of feeling alone? What was the point of going through all of this? What if the loneliness and isolation you experienced as a child were not signs of failure, but rather a crucible forging you into the strong, resilient, and authentic individual you are today? LVII. The alchemy of isolation, transforming difference into strength and self-reliance. 80, 45, 82, 15, chosen ones. What if the experience of being an outsider could forge inner strength, self-reliance, and a deep sense of authenticity? What if the times you felt alone were divine appointments? What if those lonely moments were actually shaping you for something truly great? You can transform your feelings of isolation and difference into sources of empowerment, creativity, and purpose. This experience can foster a strong sense of self-reliance, a deep understanding of empathy, and a commitment to creating a more inclusive and accepting world. The pain, the rejection, the misunderstanding, it can all be alchemized into fuel for your divine mission. This is not easy, chosen one. It requires courage, resilience, and a willingness to embrace your unique path, even when it means standing alone. But it is possible. You can be the light for others to follow. I think of a chosen one named Maria, who was bullied relentlessly throughout her childhood for her weight and her unconventional appearance. Instead of succumbing to self-pity and despair, Maria used her experience to fuel her passion for social justice. She became a vocal advocate for body positivity, using her voice to challenge societal beauty standards and create a more inclusive and accepting world. Her experience of being an outsider fueled her creativity, allowing her to connect with others on a deeper level and inspire them to embrace their own unique beauty. Does this match your personal feelings? How have you translated your pain into purpose? Remember Joseph, who was sold into slavery by his own brothers. His isolation and suffering were not the end of his story, but rather the beginning of his ascent to power. And don't forget the point, you can create the legacy you choose. The question becomes, how do you carry yourself, LIX? The legacy of authenticity, empowering future generations through self-acceptance. 82, 1583, 45, chosen ones, what kind of legacy will you create? How would a chosen one, being his or her authentic self, teach the new generation coming up? Connect your past with the present. The pain you experienced as a child, the struggles you've overcome, the lessons you've learned, all of it has prepared you to be a beacon of light for future generations. Accepting yourself, embracing your unique gifts and talents, is not selfish, but essential. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You must first fill yourself with self-love, self-acceptance, and self-compassion before you can truly serve others. This starts in your family and extends out to total strangers. All parts of this video must be synthesized, and you must act on them to have an impact. Imagine a chosen one who grew up feeling like an outcast, constantly trying to fit in and denying their true selves. But as they embrace their authenticity, they become a powerful role model for their children, teaching them to love themselves, to embrace their individuality, stand up for what they believe in. They use their experiences to create a safe and supportive environment where their children can thrive, free from the fear of judgment or rejection. They teach their children to embrace their divine assignment. Have you grown with your gift? Does it inspire others? Remember Esther, who risked her life to reveal her true identity and save her people. Your authenticity, your courage, your willingness to stand in your truth can empower others to do the same. It's the legacy of a chosen one. Are you ready to take the next steps in embracing your destiny and creating a transformed legacy for yourself, your family, and the world? LXI. The Silent Witness, exploring the phenomenon of remembering past lives or historical events. 70, 1571, 45, chosen ones. Have you ever walked into a place you've never been before and felt an undeniable sense of familiarity, a deep-seated knowing that you were home? Have you ever encountered a person you've never met and felt an instant connection, as if you'd known them for lifetimes? You might think it's just déjà vu, but it could be something far more profound. The phenomenon of past life memories is often dismissed as mere imagination or wishful thinking, but for many chosen ones, these experiences are vivid and undeniable. These aren't simply daydreams. They are fragmented or sometimes startlingly clear recollections of previous lives or historical events. Think of them as echoes from the soul, whispers from the past that can offer invaluable insights into your present life. Various belief systems, from Hinduism and Buddhism to certain esoteric Christian traditions, speak of reincarnation, the cyclical journey of the soul through multiple lifetimes. Now, it's easy to write this off as nonsense, but consider the sheer volume of anecdotal evidence, the countless stories of people who have spontaneously recalled past lives with startling accuracy. The gatekeepers will try to make you doubt this because they don't want you to realize how much power you possess. They want you to believe that this life is all there is. I recall a chosen one named Anya who had recurring dreams of ancient Rome. In her dreams, she would see herself as a senator's wife, living in a lavish villa, attending elaborate banquets, and witnessing the political intrigues of the Roman Empire. These dreams were so vivid and detailed that she began to research Roman history, only to discover that her dreams accurately depicted specific events, people, and places that she had no conscious knowledge of. She saw the colors of the city and could describe the architecture with such precision that she left experts stunned. These weren't nightmares or fantasies. They were glimpses into a life she had once lived, a life that was now impacting her present. But what if these memories aren't just random echoes of the past? What if they hold a key to understanding your current challenges and opportunities? Could these memories be echoes of unresolved trauma or unfinished business from a previous life, impacting your present one? LXII. Echoes of the soul, connecting past life memories to present-day challenges and opportunities. 71, 45, 73, 15, chosen ones, those seemingly random memories or feelings of familiarity may hold valuable insights into your present-day challenges, relationships, and even your life purpose. What if that intense fear of water stems from a past life where you drowned? What if that instant connection with a certain culture is a sign that you once lived there? The connections are real. Unresolved trauma, karmic debts, or unfulfilled missions from past lives can manifest as recurring patterns, emotional triggers, or specific aptitudes and interests in the present. That's why you might find yourself drawn to certain subjects, careers, or relationships without fully understanding why. Perhaps you are constantly running into a similar situation with many different people, like you are being taught a lesson. These patterns may seem random, but they are actually echoes of the past, guiding you toward healing and fulfillment. Now, I know many of you may doubt this, especially if you've been raised in a purely materialistic worldview. It's easy to dismiss these experiences as coincidences or figments of your imagination. But I urge you to consider the possibility that there's more to your story than you currently understand. We must open our minds to the potential. I spoke with a chosen one named Mark, who recognized a recurring pattern of relationship failure in his life. He kept attracting partners who were emotionally unavailable, distant, and ultimately unfulfilling. Through exploring potential past life connections, he discovered that he had abandoned a lover in a previous lifetime, leaving her heartbroken and alone. This karmic debt was now playing out in his present life, causing him to experience similar pain and disappointment. He broke the connection by going back and visualizing the encounter and asked for forgiveness. Once he understood the root cause of his relationship struggles, he was able to make different choices, heal his karmic debt, and attract a partner who was truly loving and supportive. But how can you delve deeper into your soul's journey and uncover these hidden connections? Is there a place where you can get more answers? LXII, the Akashic Library, exploring the concept of a universal record of all souls' experiences. 73, 1574, 45, chosen ones, is there a place where all the memories and experiences of every soul are stored? A universal library of sorts, containing the entire history of consciousness. This may sound like something out of a science fiction movie, but it's a concept that has been explored by mystics, spiritual teachers, and ancient cultures for millennia. Enter the Akashic Records, described as a universal database or energetic library containing information about every soul's journey throughout time. Think of it as a cosmic hard drive, recording every thought, word, deed, and experience of every living being. Accessing these records can provide profound insights into your past lives, soul purpose, and the connections between your past and present experiences. There are different methods for accessing the Akashic Records, such as meditation, hypnosis, or working with a trained practitioner. Some chosen ones can tap into the records spontaneously, while others require guidance and practice. But be warned, the records aren't always easy to access. They are often guarded by spiritual gatekeepers who want to protect the information from those who are not ready to handle it. I recall a chosen one named Elena who successfully accessed the Akashic Records through a guided meditation. She was seeking clarity about her soul purpose and kept encountering obstacles in her career. During her meditation, she saw herself as a healer in ancient Egypt, working with herbs and energy to heal the sick and wounded. She realized that her true calling was to help others heal, but she had been suppressing this gift out of fear of judgment. Elena was shocked that the catalyst for her journey was simple curiosity and a yearning to learn. The most important information she gained was that she was on the right path and that she needed to trust her intuition and embrace her unique gifts. She quit her unfulfilling job and started a holistic healing practice, which quickly became a success. But what if accessing these records opens you up to more spiritual attacks? What if this opens you up to more attacks? Is it wise? LXIV. Navigating the Akashic realm, discernment and protection when exploring past life memories, 74, 45, 76, 15, chosen ones, delving into past life memories or accessing the Akashic records can be a powerful and transformative experience, but it's crucial to proceed with caution, discernment, and spiritual protection. What if you uncover a traumatic past life experience that overwhelms you with negative emotions? What if you encounter malevolent entities that seek to manipulate or deceive you? The risks are real, and they should not be taken lightly. You must be clear about your intentions, seeking guidance from trusted spiritual mentors, and employing spiritual protection techniques. Grounding yourself in the present moment is essential, maintaining a strong connection to your body, your breath, and your surroundings. Think of it as anchoring yourself to reality, preventing you from being swept away by the currents of the past. Specific prayers, such as the prayer of protection, can shield you from negative energies and entities. I call upon the divine light to surround me, protect me, and guide me. I am safe, I am strong, I am loved. This will keep you safe. I recall a chosen one named Michael who encountered negative entities and experienced intense emotional distress while exploring past life memories without proper protection. He became obsessed with his past lives, neglecting his present life and isolating himself from his loved ones. He was tormented by nightmares and began to experience panic attacks. He realized that he had opened himself up to something he wasn't prepared to handle. He sought guidance from a spiritual mentor who helped him to close the portal and implement spiritual protection techniques. They now employ consistent methods to keep his body safe, including visualization exercises, affirmations, and regular cleansing rituals. But how do these memories help your gifts? How are they protected now? What methods are always employed? LXV. The tapestry of time, empathy, discernment, and resilience in the context of past life exploration, 76, 1577, 45. Chosen ones, empathy, discernment, and resilience are crucial tools for your journey, especially when exploring the complexities of past life memories and ancestral healing. How can you use these gifts to navigate the turbulent waters of the past? How can they uniquely be applied? Empathy allows you to connect with the emotions and experiences of your past selves, understanding their pain, their joys, and their lessons. Discernment helps you distinguish between authentic memories and imaginative constructs, separating the wheat from the chaff. And resilience enables you to navigate difficult emotions and potential spiritual challenges, bouncing back from setbacks and emerging stronger than before. Think of these qualities as a spiritual compass, guiding you toward truth, healing, and wholeness. But what if the memories cause too much chaos? Let's imagine a chosen one who discovers a past life where they were a victim of abuse. Empathy allows them to connect with the pain and trauma of their past self, validating their feelings and offering them compassion. Discernment helps them to understand that the abuse was not their fault and that they are not defined by their past. And resilience empowers them to heal from the trauma, break the cycle of abuse, and create a better future for themselves and others. In this way, all the gifts have come together to create one of the most powerful beacons the world has ever seen. But what's it all for? Why is it easier for a chosen one to utilize these gifts? Is there ever a need to stop looking? LXVI. The eternal mission, fulfilling your divine assignment by integrating your past life wisdom, 77, 45, 79, 15, chosen ones, exploring and integrating past life memories is not just about personal healing. It's about unlocking a deeper understanding of your divine assignment and contributing to the collective evolution of humanity. Suggest that remembering the past can unlock the future. The more you remember, the more you understand. Those chosen ones who embrace their past life wisdom can become beacons of light and inspiration for others, paving the way for a more compassionate, just, and enlightened world. Think of it as weaving a tapestry of time, connecting the past, present, and future into a seamless whole. The information that you gain will assist you in helping those around you. You can help them see things they could never have seen on their own. However, What if they don't want your help? It is up to them to do the work. Consider a chosen one who fully embraced their gifts, explored their past life memories, and made a significant contribution to society. They became a leader, a healer, an artist, and an advocate for positive change. They created a foundation that sought to help those in need and used the gifts from past lives to heal more efficiently and effectively. Her journey was hard, as it required her to confront her own demons from the past in order to do the work in the present. But she stood tall and carried the torch for a new generation to follow, knowing that the mission was bigger than herself. So how can this help you? Can you connect with those who are gone, chosen ones? Are you ready to take the next steps in embracing your destiny and creating a transformed legacy for yourselves, your families, and the world? Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. Now let's move on to the next portion of the video, where we will explore this in even more detail. LXI, the mirror effect, exploring the childhood phenomenon of seeing reflections that aren't there. 79, 1580, 45, chosen ones, did you ever stare into a mirror as a child and see something different? Not just your reflection, but a fleeting image, a figure in the periphery, or a scene that vanished as quickly as it appeared. This isn't about childish imagination. This is a persistent visual anomaly that many of you have experienced, and what if those mirrors showed more than just reflections? Some chosen ones experience a heightened sensitivity to the energies and entities that exist beyond the veil of our physical realm. This can manifest as visual anomalies in mirrors, as if the reflective surface acts as a portal, a thin place where the boundaries between worlds blur. Mirrors, throughout history and across cultures, have been seen as more than just reflective surfaces. They've been viewed as gateways, scrying tools, and even traps for the unwary. But what energy makes all this possible? What allows these reflections, these glimpses into something more to occur? This isn't mere childhood imagination or an optical illusion. This is a specific sensitivity, a heightened perception granted to those who are meant to see beyond the surface. This isn't something that everyone experiences, and that's what makes it so important. I recall a chosen one named Sarah who, from a very young age, consistently saw figures in the mirror that no one else could. Sometimes, it was a woman in old-fashioned clothing. Other times, it was just a fleeting shadow. It terrified her, but also fascinated her. She would spend hours staring into the mirror, trying to decipher what she was seeing. Her parents dismissed it as an overactive imagination, and her friends ridiculed her. But even if others didn't see what she saw, didn't invalidate her experience. That heightened intuition, that ability to perceive beyond the physical, was a sign of her unique calling. Relate this back to all that we already have discussed. Were you praised, ridiculed, or met with indifference? Did anyone believe you? This is important. This experience can be unsettling and challenging to explain. It can lead to feelings of isolation, self-doubt, and the fear of being labeled as crazy. But you are not crazy, chosen one. These reflections are not figments of your imagination. They are glimpses into other realities or past lives, desperately trying to connect. Could these reflections be glimpses into other realities or past lives, desperately trying to connect? LXII. Windows to the past, connecting mirror sightings to past life memories and ancestral energies. 80, 45, 82, 15. Building on the previous section, let's consider this. Could these mirror sightings be connected to past life memories or unresolved ancestral energies? Is it possible that mirrors, with their reflective surfaces, tap into something we do not fully understand, a reservoir of time and experience that lies just beyond our normal perception? The energy of past events, especially those charged with strong emotions or unresolved trauma, can linger in certain places or objects. Think of a house where a tragedy occurred, where the air feels heavy and the energy seems oppressive. Mirrors, with their ability to capture and reflect light, may also be able to capture and reflect these residual energies. And chosen ones, with their heightened sensitivities, might be more attuned to these lingering echoes, seeing them as fleeting images or distorted reflections in the glass. Imagine a mirror that has been in a family for generations, witnessing countless joys and sorrows. It's not just a piece of glass. It's a repository of memories, a window into the past. But what does it say about the past that allows it to be seen in this way? What properties of our physical world allow this to happen? I remember another chosen one, named David, who saw a recurring image of a soldier in his childhood mirror. He never understood it until he began researching his family history. He discovered that his great-great-grandfather had been a soldier in the Civil War and had died in battle. David realized that the figure he had been seeing in the mirror was a glimpse of his ancestor, seeking recognition or resolution. Through exploring his family history and engaging in ancestral healing practices, David came to understand that he was meant to honor his ancestors' sacrifice and break the cycle of violence that had plagued his family for generations. Reflections of ancestors, are they more common than we think? And how can you tell if it is an ancestor you are seeing? Let's explore these thin places, because there is more to the world than what meets the senses. What if these events were to increase or intensify? What would that mean for you, for your journey? This all connects to liminal spaces, LXIII. The threshold realm, exploring the significance of liminal spaces in the experiences of chosen ones, 82, 1583, 45. Have you ever felt a sense of unease or heightened awareness in certain places that seem to exist between realities? What if the spaces themselves were somehow alive, holding secrets and energies that we can't normally perceive? These are liminal spaces, those transitional or in-between places that seem to hold a unique energy. Think of hallways, stairwells, empty rooms, or abandoned buildings, places where you're neither here nor there, neither inside nor outside. Spaces that exist in transition are often more open to energies, acting as portals or gateways to other realms, making them more susceptible to spiritual activity. They are on the edge of what we consider real. But is it just childhood that makes one susceptible, or is there continued sensitivity throughout life? I remember a chosen one named Maria who consistently experienced strange occurrences in liminal spaces. She felt a heightened sense of unease in an empty school hallway at night or in an abandoned building. She would hear whispers, see shadows, and feel like she was being watched. At first, she dismissed it as her imagination, but the experiences became more frequent and intense. She knew they were not random. They were connected to her heightened intuition and encounters with spiritual entities. How can these spaces be blessed or purified? Is there a ritual or act that can be performed? Now, could these experiences be signs that you are on the front lines of a battle between light and darkness, fought not just in the physical world, but in the realms beyond? Is the answer spiritual warfare? LXIV, the battlefield within, recognizing and resisting spiritual attacks in the thin places of your life. 83, 45, 85, 15 chosen ones. Let's talk about spiritual warfare. Are you on the front lines? As chosen ones, you are often targeted by negative forces, especially in vulnerable states or liminal spaces. Does your spiritual battle feel real? Does it feel constant? Malevolent entities can attempt to influence or torment individuals by exploiting their sensitivities, fears, or unresolved traumas. They seek to create chaos, sow discord, and prevent you from fulfilling your divine mission. That's why it's so important to recognize these attacks and develop strategies for spiritual protection. The Bible speaks of spiritual armor, Ephesians 6, 1018, which includes prayer, meditation, and setting clear boundaries. You must put on this armor daily. But is there ever a reason to engage and fight back? What does that look like? I recall a chosen one named James who experienced targeted attacks in liminal spaces. He would feel a heavy presence, hear voices telling him he was worthless, and experience intense feelings of anxiety and despair. He realized that these attacks were designed to break him down, to make him doubt his calling, and to prevent him from fulfilling his destiny. James began to pray regularly, meditate on scripture, and set clear boundaries with negative people in his life. He visualized a shield of light surrounding him, deflecting the attacks of the enemy. He also sought guidance from a spiritual mentor who helped him to identify the root causes of his vulnerability and develop strategies for overcoming them. Is there a physical, emotional, and spiritual element to these encounters? What are some tools that you can employ? All the events that we have discussed are connected. Remember that. The ability to recognize and resist spiritual attacks is a sign of strength and a crucial aspect of fulfilling one's divine mission. This is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to your resilience and your commitment to serving God. But what happens next? LXV. Reclaiming your power, transforming vulnerability into strength, and using your gifts to shield and protect. 85, 1586, 45, chosen ones, you have the power to protect yourselves from negative influences and reclaim your authority. Even if you're alone, even if you're afraid, it's already inside you. Transforming vulnerability into strength involves developing self-compassion, practicing forgiveness, setting healthy boundaries, and connecting with supportive communities. It's about embracing your unique gifts and using them to create a shield of protection. Think of it as building a fortress around your heart, mind, and soul, guarding it from negative influences. But what gifts would be most helpful in this endeavor, which would prove most effective in the coming battle? I think of a chosen one I know named Lisa, who successfully reclaimed her power by implementing these strategies. She had been plagued by feelings of self-doubt and inadequacy for years, but she realized that these feelings were not her own. They were the result of negative influences and spiritual attacks. Lisa began to practice self-compassion, treating herself with the same kindness and understanding that she would offer to a friend. She forgave those who had wronged her, releasing the bitterness and resentment that had been holding her back. She set healthy boundaries, saying no to demands that drained her energy and depleted her resources, and she connected with a supportive community of like-minded individuals who encouraged her to embrace her gifts and step into her power. She began volunteering at a local soup kitchen. This is not the end of the battle, but just one phase in the ongoing journey. What do you do? The ability to protect yourself spiritually is a sign that you have power, and what comes next is what you were born to do. Are you ready to continue? LXVI. The illuminated shield, fulfilling your divine assignment by protecting yourself and shining your light. 86, 45, 88, 15. All the experiences we've discussed, the mirror sightings, past life memories, liminal space encounters, and spiritual attacks have been shaping you, chosen ones, for a specific purpose, to be a light in the darkness. What will others say about you as you become your true self? When you embrace your gifts and protect yourself from negative influences, you become beacons of hope and inspiration for others. You pave the way for a more enlightened and compassionate world, helping others to see their own potential and step into their own power. You heal those around you simply by existing. You offer safety and security for all who come in contact with you. Now can you put it all together and share that with the world? The world needs you right now. Consider a chosen one named Michael, who fully embraced his gifts, protected himself from negative influences, and made a significant contribution to society. He became a leader, a healer, an artist, and an advocate for positive change. He created a foundation that sought to help those in need and used the gifts from past lives to heal more efficiently and effectively. Michael wasn't given power. This comes from the power inside. This power exists inside you as well. What are you going to do with it? Chosen ones, are you ready to take the next steps in embracing your destiny and creating a transformed legacy for yourselves, your families, and the world? I thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. In the next section, we will dive even deeper. LXVII. Beyond the body, exploring childhood experiences with astral projection. 88, 1589, 45. Chosen ones, did you ever feel like you were floating outside your body as a child, watching yourself sleep, as if you were merely observing your physical form from a distance? What if it wasn't just a dream, but a glimpse into something far more profound, a natural ability waiting to be unlocked? This is the realm of astral projection, also known as out-of-body experiences, a phenomenon where your consciousness separates from your physical body, allowing you to travel to different locations, explore other dimensions, or even interact with spiritual entities. While many dismiss it as mere fantasy or imagination, some chosen ones experience this ability with remarkable clarity and frequency, especially during childhood. The sensation is often described as floating, hovering, or gently detaching from the body, accompanied by a feeling of lightness and freedom. You are no longer confined by the limitations of the physical world. You are free to explore the vast expanse of consciousness, unburdened by the constraints of time and space. Imagine yourself soaring above your house, your neighborhood, or even distant lands, all while your physical body remains peacefully asleep. Is this a common experience? What is the connection? I recall a chosen one named Emily who frequently experienced astral projection as a child. She would explore her house at night, marveling at the familiar surroundings from a new perspective. She would visit her neighbors' homes, observing their lives without being seen, and she would even travel to distant places, witnessing breathtaking landscapes and encountering fascinating people. One night, she vividly remembered going to school. Because of the heavy snow and storms, the school district had canceled classes. When she told her mother, she was punished and grounded. Emily's mother was shocked when the school district announced a snow day because of the storm. Emily had to keep her gift secret. Were you ever punished for going somewhere only to have never left your room, for knowing something you couldn't possibly have known? Were you ever told, you must have been dreaming? Astral projection can be a frightening or confusing experience, especially for children who lack the understanding or guidance to navigate this phenomenon safely. Is astral projection a gift, a curse, or a call to something greater, something that requires careful exploration and understanding? LXVII. The Astral Highway, Potential Dangers and the Necessity for Spiritual Protection, 89, 45, 91, 15. But chosen ones, the astral realm is not all love and light. It is not simply a playground for carefree exploration. Like the physical world, it has its dangers, its shadows, and its potential pitfalls. Just because you can leave your body doesn't mean you should, without preparation, without understanding, without spiritual protection. There are potential dangers of astral projection, such as encountering negative entities, beings who seek to drain your energy, manipulate your emotions, or even attach themselves to your consciousness. There is the risk of getting lost in the astral realm, becoming disoriented, or experiencing difficulty returning to your physical body. And there is the potential for physical or psychological distress, such as headaches, nightmares, or feelings of anxiety and fear. You must equip yourself with spiritual protection techniques, such as calling on angels, visualizing a shield of light, or setting clear intentions before projecting. This is not about fear. It's about wisdom, about recognizing the potential risks, and taking the necessary precautions to safeguard your well-being. What happens when you forget your protection? I remember a chosen one named Daniel who had a terrifying experience while astral projecting. He encountered a malevolent entity, a dark shadow that seemed to feed on his fear. He felt a sense of dread, disorientation, and intense pressure on his chest. He struggled to break free from the entity's grip, desperately calling on his angels for help. Finally, with a surge of divine intervention, he was able to return to his body, shaken but unharmed. Daniel learned a valuable lesson that day. Spiritual protection is not optional. It is essential for safe and responsible astral exploration. Was the encounter an accident or a setup? What were the conditions that lead to the event? How did Daniel change after this? Is there more to just protection? Is there more than just going for a walk? Could astral projection be used for more than just exploration and defense? LXIX. The Astral Compass, using astral projection for guidance, healing, and problem-solving, 91, 50, 92, 45. But chosen ones, when practiced safely and responsibly, astral projection can be a powerful tool for gaining guidance, facilitating healing, and solving problems. What if you can learn more while you are out of your body than inside it, accessing realms of knowledge and insight that are beyond the reach of your ordinary senses? Astral projection can be used to connect with spirit guides, wise and compassionate beings who offer guidance and support on your spiritual journey. It can be used to access higher realms of consciousness, where you can gain profound insights into the nature of reality, the meaning of life, and your own divine purpose. It can be used to explore past lives, heal emotional wounds, and release limiting beliefs that are holding you back. And it can be used to gain clarity about complex situations, solve problems, and make informed decisions. It is not about escape, but about the ability to engage in a different form. Think of this ability, this practice, not as something to fear, but as something to wield with wisdom and intention. So how do you do that? I recall a chosen one named Jessica who used astral projection to receive guidance from a spirit guide. She was struggling with a difficult decision, unsure of which path to take. During an out-of-body experience, she encountered a wise old woman who radiated love and compassion. The woman offered her guidance, clarity, and reassurance, helping her to make a decision that aligned with her soul's purpose. Another chosen one, named Mark, was dealing with recurring nightmares. He projected out of his body and encountered a male entity that was revealed as a spirit from a past life. Mark helped the spirit move on, and the nightmares have ceased. Did they see a vision? Did they feel a message? Did they meet an entity? Can you see how past lives play into the current one? Is everything you experience while astral projecting real, or is some of it a creation of your own mind, a reflection of your beliefs, fears, and expectations? How do you tell the difference? LXX. The astral filter, discernment and authenticity in the out-of-body experience. 92, 45, 94, 15. Discernment is paramount, chosen ones, when interpreting experiences during astral projection, as not everything encountered may be truthful or beneficial. The astral realm is not a crystal-clear reflection of reality. It's often distorted by your own beliefs, fears, and expectations, creating illusions and projections that can lead you astray. You must learn to distinguish between authentic spiritual guidance and deceptive illusions or projections of your own ego. You must ground yourself in the present moment, trusting your intuition and seeking validation from trusted sources. Ask yourself, does this message resonate with my heart? Does it align with my values? Does it feel empowering or disempowering? If something feels off, if it doesn't sit right with your soul, it's likely not authentic. What does that grounding look like in a world of limitless possibilities? What does a gut check feel like? I remember a chosen one named Michael who initially mistook a self-created illusion for a genuine spiritual encounter. He encountered a being of light who showered him with praise and told him he was destined for greatness. Michael was elated, feeling validated and empowered. But as he reflected on the experience, he realized that the being was simply mirroring his own ego, feeding his desire for recognition and approval. He realized that true spiritual guidance comes from a place of humility, authenticity, and alignment with divine will, not from ego-driven fantasies. Were themes explored so far a precursor to this event? What if the gift is misused? Is it possible that this tool of enlightenment could be twisted into a tool of manipulation? LXXI, the dark side of the moon, ethical considerations, and the misuse of astral projection. 94, 1595, 45. Can astral projection be used for selfish or harmful purposes? And what are the consequences of doing so, chosen ones? This is not just about seeing and knowing. It's about power, about the ability to influence, manipulate, and control. There are ethical implications of using astral projection to influence others, spy on private matters, or manipulate events for personal gain. Actions driven by selfish motives are violations of divine law, and they carry karmic repercussions. The same abilities used for good can be used for bad, but what are the boundaries? Imagine a world where astral spies are as common as digital hackers, invading privacy and manipulating events from the unseen realm. Imagine the potential for abuse, the erosion of trust, and the spiritual corruption that would ensue. I recall a hypothetical scenario of a chosen one who used astral projection for selfish purposes, attempting to manipulate another person's emotions to gain their affection. Initially, they experienced a sense of power and control, but over time, they began to feel a growing sense of guilt, shame, and disconnection from their own soul. They attracted negative energies into their life, experienced physical and emotional distress, and ultimately lost the very connection they sought to manipulate. The lesson: gifts come with responsibilities. What did they see? What did they do? What was the lesson? Chosen ones, what do all of these journeys really mean for you? What is the ultimate goal? LXXII. The Astral Mirror, reflecting inward and outward on the path to divine purpose. 95, 45, 97, 15. In summary, chosen ones, astral projection holds potential for guidance, healing, and problem-solving, but also demands discernment, spiritual protection, and ethical considerations. What lessons have we learned on this journey? Astral projection can amplify qualities of empathy, discernment, and resilience through exploration of the astral realm. What happens to your empathy when you experience what another does? What happens to your discernment when you learn to question the real? What happens to your resilience when your soul travels beyond the body? Each one of these is connected, each one contributes to the bigger picture, but how do you see it all together? How do you bring the lessons you learn out there back here to your body? Consider a chosen one who fully integrated astral projection into their spiritual practice, using it to gain deeper insights, heal emotional wounds, and ultimately fulfill their divine assignment. They began by diligently practicing spiritual protection techniques, creating a safe and sacred space for their out-of-body experiences. They sought guidance from trusted spirit guides, learning to discern authentic messages from ego-driven illusions. They explored past lives, healing emotional wounds, and releasing limiting beliefs. And they used astral projection to gain clarity about their life purpose, aligning their actions with divine will. As they grew, they began helping others to experience the same healing and learnings. What was the key turning point? What are your next steps? Chosen ones, the path is already within. It's time to share. Are you ready? LXXII. The Astral Gateway, embracing your expanded awareness and guiding others on their spiritual journeys. 97, 50, 98, 45. Each and every one of these experiences have shaped you for a purpose. Chosen ones, and astral projection, when understood and used responsibly, can be a valuable tool on your path. What will others say and learn from you? Chosen ones who embrace their unique gifts and use them for the benefit of others can become spiritual leaders, healers, and guides, helping others navigate the complexities of the spiritual realm and awaken to their own divine potential. The astral gateways enhance paths in many ways. Those who are healers can move into other bodies to help accelerate the healing of those bodies. Those who are leaders can visit distant lands to learn about the needs of others. Astral projection, like many of your gifts, is just another tool, but how will you wield it? I look to the story of a chosen one who used these gifts to help others by becoming leaders, healers, artists, or advocates. They made an impact on the world through writing, speaking, and activism to help others to unlock their own potential. They taught others to heal themselves from trauma in order to experience true forgiveness of others. Some helped build sustainable communities, ensuring access for all. What will you do with your gifts? Chosen ones, are you ready to take the next steps in embracing your destiny and creating a transformed legacy for yourselves, your families, and the world? Are you ready to open the door and step through? Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. Find the links in the description below. LXXIV. Whispers of the Wild, exploring the childhood connection with animals. 98, 45, 100, 15. Chosen ones, did animals seem drawn to you as a child? Did you feel like you could understand them in a way that others couldn't? Was there a sense that a wild animal knew you or was protecting you far beyond just liking pets? This connection is more than just a love for furry friends. Chosen ones often possess a natural affinity for animals, exhibiting a deep understanding of their behavior, emotions, and needs. This connection can manifest as the ability to seemingly communicate with animals, heal them with a touch, or form unusually strong bonds with them. It's as if a silent language exists, one you inherently understand. There's something about the energy, a shared vibration that transcends species. This isn't just about owning a pet, but about a deep, resonant connection to the animal kingdom. Have you ever felt like you could sense an animal's pain or fear, or that they understood your unspoken thoughts? It's a recognition, a mirroring of souls. The gatekeepers, they want you to think this connection is just a coincidence or you being too sensitive. But this gift is real. I remember a chosen one named Sarah who consistently rescued stray animals, one after another, always showing up at her doorstep or crossing her path. She formed unusually close bonds with her pets, seeming to communicate with them through a touch or gentle word. It was as if she could hear their unspoken pleas, understand their deepest fears. What was unique about her relationships was an unspoken dialogue. They seemed to understand each other on a soul level, sharing a profound connection that defied explanation. Even wild animals seemed to trust her, approaching her without fear, as if sensing her benevolent nature. Did you ever feel like animals were drawn to your energy, seeking your comfort or protection? This connection with animals can be a beautiful and rewarding experience, but it can also come with unique challenges and responsibilities. If animals naturally trust you, are you responsible for protecting them from harm, even when it puts you at risk? LXXV. The Protector's Burden, Navigating Responsibility and Emotional Toll of Animal Empathy, 100, 15101, 45, Chosen Ones. Does a deep connection to animals come with a heavy emotional burden, particularly when witnessing their suffering or facing difficult decisions about their care? What if you're one of the few that truly notice their suffering, feeling their pain as your own? How are you to handle it? The potential for chosen ones to experience emotional distress when encountering animal abuse, neglect, or illness is profound. Their empathy can make it difficult to witness animal suffering without feeling overwhelmed or helpless. It's as if they absorb the animal's pain, carrying their burdens on their own shoulders. The question then turns into, how can you be prepared for those emotions? The gatekeepers don't want you prepared. They don't want you to have the right tools. They want you to wallow. Remember, your mind is your biggest weapon. I recall a chosen one named David who struggled with the emotional toll of working in animal rescue. Each day, he was confronted with cases of cruelty, neglect, and abandonment, each one tearing at his heart. He faced difficult decisions about euthanasia, struggling with the weight of ending a life, even when it was the most humane option. The unique emotional challenge was the constant exposure to suffering, the feeling of helplessness in the face of such widespread cruelty. It impacted him deeply, leading to burnout, depression, and a sense of despair. David learned he was not able to help anyone unless he was first able to help himself. He changed his life to helping other rescuers to heal from the trauma. Have you ever been burdened by the suffering of others, feeling overwhelmed by the weight of their pain? Were you ridiculed or mocked for your sensitivity? Did you try to ignore it, to numb the pain, only to find it resurfacing later? If bearing the weight of the world is too much, can this connection open gateways to higher states, transforming empathy into a force for healing and conservation? LXXVI, Guardians of the Wild, Transforming Animal Affinity into a Force for Healing and Conservation, 101, 45, 103, 15, Chosen Ones. If you understand their pain, aren't you the best person to speak for them, to use your gifts to advocate for animal welfare, promote conservation, and create a more compassionate world? Chosen ones with a strong connection to animals can channel their passion into various forms of advocacy, such as volunteering at animal shelters, supporting conservation efforts, educating others about animal welfare, or using their creative talents to raise awareness. It's about transforming empathy into action, turning pain into purpose. The gatekeepers don't want you to realize this power. They want you to feel helpless so you don't get involved. They want you to stay home. The question is, will you do it? The question is, will you ignore the calling? Remember, being chosen means you get to choose. I remember a chosen one named Maria who used her unique connection with animals to create positive change in her community. She started an animal rescue organization, providing shelter, care, and adoption services for homeless animals. She developed innovative conservation programs, protecting endangered species and preserving their natural habitats. She created art that inspired others to protect wildlife, sharing her love for animals through her paintings and sculptures. Others followed her lead, inspired by her passion and dedication. Some volunteered at her animal shelter, others donated to her conservation programs, and still others began to speak out about animal welfare issues. In many ways, Maria showed people that every one of us can be a voice for the voiceless. Have you ever been inspired by someone's passion to take action, to make a difference in the world? Did you ever go in the face of danger, knowing that you must help? If your calling is from above, then how does it influence the connections you have with Earth's creatures, and can that connection have a higher source than the self? LXXVII. Messengers of the natural world, connecting animal affinity to a larger spiritual purpose. 103, 15, 104, 45, chosen ones, is your love for animals a way for the divine to speak through you, and can the deep connection you feel with them be part of a larger spiritual purpose, connecting you to the wisdom and balance of the natural world? Animals can act as messengers or guides, providing insights, healing, and spiritual lessons to those who are open to receiving them. They can teach us about love, trust, forgiveness, and living in harmony with nature. They are mirrors reflecting our own inner state, guiding us back to our true selves. The gatekeepers don't want you to listen to animals. The gatekeepers don't want you to connect with nature. Their goal is to make sure you are always distracted from your true self. I recall a chosen one named Samuel who received a profound spiritual lesson through an encounter with an animal. He was feeling lost and disconnected, struggling to find his purpose in life. One day, while walking in the woods, he encountered a majestic deer. As he gazed into its eyes, he felt a sense of peace, clarity, and connection to something larger than himself. He realized that his purpose was to protect the natural world, to be a steward of the Earth's resources, and to live in harmony with all living beings. The deer was the messenger, the catalyst for his awakening. What does that deer look like? How can this interaction be integrated? Chosen ones, is your path being set up? LXXVIA. The complete picture, animal affinity as part of a larger divine assignment. 104, 45, 106, 15 chosen ones, has this animal connection, along with heightened intuition, spiritual encounters, and other sensitivities, been shaping you for a specific purpose. Understanding animals helps you empathize for all, and connecting to their struggle will motivate you to act. The gatekeepers don't want you to see how it all fits together. They want you to feel like these are all random things you're experiencing. They want you to feel crazy. Don't let them trick you. Understand that you were born this way for a reason. The point of all these experiences is to become more connected. You understanding their pain is meant to make you more compassionate for all. What has one learned over the course of the video? Was it all for a reason? Connecting this to an example of someone powerful, consider the biblical figure Noah, who was tasked with saving the animals from the great flood. His compassion for animals was a key part of his divine assignment, demonstrating the importance of protecting all living beings. He had these gifts, and he listened to God and created a new world. How can these lessons change the future? What can you do with all these gifts? Is it time to act, chosen ones? LXXIX. Call to action, walking the path with new gifts. 106, 15, 107, 45 chosen ones. Take a moment to reflect on the gifts we've explored today, those moments of heightened intuition, spiritual encounters, and deep animal connections. Share a time when these gifts helped you, a moment when you felt guided, protected, or empowered by these unique abilities. Chosen ones who embrace their gifts and protect themselves from negative influences can be a force, not just a protector. The gatekeepers want to shut you down and tell you it's not real. Tell them you see them. Use your gifts. I see the story of a woman who learned and applied these tools, using the gift of animal empathy to run a nonprofit organization. Even though she went through emotional strife, Because the feelings of the animals impacted her deeply, she learned not to block that feeling, to use it. Chosen ones, what's your purpose? Find that and then act upon it. LXXX. The Sentient Toy, exploring childhood experiences with animate objects. 107, 45, 109, 15. Chosen ones, did you ever believe your toys were alive when you were a child, holding secret conversations, embarking on unseen adventures? I don't mean typical imaginative play. I mean, did you really believe? For some chosen ones, this wasn't just child's play. It was a deeply held belief that certain toys possessed a life of their own, complete with personalities, emotions, and even a sense of sentience. This can manifest in elaborate storylines, complex social dynamics between toys, or a feeling that certain objects were watching over them. It was as if these inanimate objects held a secret language, communicating with you in ways that others couldn't understand. Think back. Did you prefer to be alone with your toys? Were they your confidants, your protectors, your guides? The gatekeepers want you to dismiss this as childish fantasy, but what if there's more to it? What if these experiences were actually gateways to understanding the spiritual realm? I remember a chosen one named Emily who had an old teddy bear named Barnaby. To Emily, Barnaby wasn't just a stuffed animal. He was a wise and loyal friend. She attributed to him a distinct personality, a gentle soul with a comforting presence. She would often confide in Barnaby, sharing her fears, dreams, and secrets, and felt like he offered her sound advice, even though he never spoke aloud. It was as if his very presence brought her comfort and guidance. Barnaby seemed to know when she was sad, offering a silent hug and a reassuring presence. Emily recalls one incident where she was lost in the woods and Barnaby, who she had brought along, guided her home by nudging her in the right direction. It wasn't the bear doing it literally, but Emily says she felt a push to go a certain way, and Barnaby was there to nudge her. What if all that time you played wasn't just play, but a form of spiritual connection? Was there a spiritual element to your toys? What do you make of Barnaby's presence? This experience can be easily dismissed as mere childhood fantasy, leaving chosen ones feeling misunderstood, maybe even a little ashamed. But consider this: if the outside world didn't understand, did your toys? And isn't it possible that these seemingly ordinary playthings were actually connected to your destiny in ways you couldn't have imagined? LXXXI, the chosen artifact, linking specific toys to personal destiny. 109, 15, 110, 45. Chosen ones, what if specific toys aren't just random objects, but are actually connected to your divine assignment? What if a toy was given as a sign? Did you have a toy that seemed to call to you, that you couldn't be without? Action figures, dolls, and other toys might have served as more than just playthings. They could have been your protectors, your teachers, even your spiritual guides. The doll wasn't just a doll, but a connection to something more, a protector in your life, a guide to help you. When did you get it? What happened after? These toys were gifts, but were they simply from your parents? What if there was a divine hand at work? What if their significance goes far beyond simple happenstance? How did you find them? Who gave them to you? Consider this: many biblical figures had toys that were actually powerful artifacts imbued with divine purpose. Moses had his staff, a symbol of authority and power that he used to perform miracles. David had his sling, a seemingly simple weapon that he used to defeat Goliath and fulfill his destiny. The Ark of the Covenant was more than just a box. It was a sacred vessel that housed the presence of God. These artifacts were instrumental in shaping their destinies, guiding them towards their divine purpose. What artifact helped your growth? What gift did it give? Was it patience, courage, strength? What if, like those biblical figures, you were given specific tools to aid you on your path? But what if these toys aren't always what they seem? What if they can be used as attack vectors by dark forces, gateways for negative energies to infiltrate your life? LXXXII. The Dark Playroom, identifying malevolent influences attached to childhood objects. 110, 45, 112, 15. Chosen ones, what if not all childhood toys were innocent? What if some were gateways for negative energies or even malevolent entities? Negative entities can attach themselves to objects, particularly those that hold strong emotional significance, such as toys. These attachments can manifest as unsettling feelings, nightmares, or even behavioral changes in the child. It's as if the toy becomes a conduit for negative energy, poisoning the child's mind and spirit. This is what the gatekeepers don't want you to understand. Not every gift is from above. Not every present is innocent. I remember a chosen one named Michael who was given a seemingly harmless clown doll as a child, but from the moment he received it, he experienced a series of unsettling events. He had nightmares filled with the clown's sinister grin. He felt an inexplicable sense of dread whenever he was near the doll. He started to act out, becoming aggressive and withdrawn. Eventually, Michael's parents realized that the doll was carrying a malevolent energy, and they decided to get rid of it. The nightmares stopped, and Michael's behavior improved dramatically. Looking back, he realized the doll was not a gift, but a curse, an attempt to derail him from his path. Were the toys creepy or make you feel uneasy? Were you ever fearful of that toy coming alive? Can an object cause damage? Absolutely. The unseen is real, and for you chosen ones, you are sensitive to those things. Was the toy removed from you? But don't despair. There's hope. These negative influences can be cleansed. Spaces can be reclaimed. What if there's a way to purify these objects, to restore their innocence, and to create a spiritually safe environment for yourself and others? LXXXIII. Cleansing the Innocence. Safe Practices for Reclaiming Childhood Spaces. 112, 15, 113, 45. Chosen ones. It is possible to cleanse toys, to reclaim your home, and to purify any space tainted by negative energy. Your gifts are there to help. Emphasize faith and safety when cleansing any space. Water, salt, oils, prayer, and light are powerful tools that can transform the atmosphere and dispel negative influences. Water is cleansing, salt is purifying, oils are protective, prayer is powerful, light dispels darkness. Together, these elements create a shield of protection, a force field against negativity. Affirm the purity of the space, reinforce it with your intention, and banish any lingering darkness. Have courage, trust your intuition, and continue with these steps until you feel a sense of peace and tranquility. This is your gift. The gatekeepers want you to believe it's not real, but you know better. Consider the many examples in the Bible where cleansing rituals were used to purify objects and spaces. In the Old Testament, priests used water and incense to cleanse the temple. In the New Testament, Jesus cleansed the temple of merchants and money changers, restoring its sacred purpose. I recall a chosen one who had a toy that was given to the family as a symbol of their faith that turned into a nightmare for the family. The more they prayed with it, the more damage it caused. So the family used their gifts and turned the toy into something that aided them on their path, cleansing themselves, the house, and the toy. Now they use it for protection, not evil. What if you did the same? What toy can you transform? It's time to come into your full self. It is up to you to take action and move on. Now is the time to use these lessons, embrace your power, and step into your destiny with faith as your guide. The gatekeepers want you to be afraid. Will you let them? LXXXIV. Chosen ones to action. Embrace who you are. 113, 45, 115, 15. Chosen ones, remember why you are watching. The journey of being a chosen one is about taking all the tools and experiences, even the bad ones, and understanding them. It's about recognizing that every challenge, every setback, every seemingly random event has shaped you into the person you are today. The gatekeepers want you to feel confused. They want you to feel lost. They want you to focus on the negative. Don't let them. Remember why you are here. Think about the power you possess as a chosen one. You have the ability to see beyond the surface, to sense energies that others cannot, to connect with the spiritual realm in profound ways. What can you do to take all these events and provide a path to the lost? How can you use your gifts to heal the world, to inspire hope, and to create a better future? The gatekeepers don't want you to realize how powerful you are. They want you to hide your light, to dim your flame. It's time to wrap everything up. It's time to embrace your mission, to embrace yourself, and to step into your destiny. But where do you start? What are the next steps you need to take? LXXXV. Call to action. Time to step into destiny. 115, 116, 45. Chosen ones, you have the power to protect yourselves from negative influences and reclaim your authority, even if you're alone, even if you're afraid. Now, how do you plan to get there? How can we help? Transforming vulnerability into strength requires self-compassion, forgiveness, healthy boundaries, and supportive communities. It's about recognizing your worth, forgiving yourself for past mistakes, setting limits on what you're willing to tolerate, and connecting with others who understand and support you. Your gifts are your shields. Your intuition is your guide. Your faith is your weapon. The gatekeepers want you to feel isolated, but you are not alone. Now you have all the gifts. Use them to their full extent and show others your destiny. What are your next steps? What action will you take today to embrace your power and step into your destiny? Will you start by cleansing your space, forgiving yourself, connecting with a supportive community, or embracing your unique gifts? The choice is yours, but the time to act is now. Are you ready to transform your childhood wounds into sources of strength, your vulnerabilities into superpowers, and your destiny into a legacy that will inspire generations to come? But we're just scratching the surface. What we'll discover next is even more shocking. LXXX, the divine blueprint, introducing the concept of spiritual contracts. 107, 45, 109, 15. Chosen ones, what if the challenges you faced as a child weren't random occurrences, but pieces of a carefully designed puzzle? What if they were part of a preordained agreement, a spiritual contract your soul made before you even entered this world? Have you ever considered the possibility that your life, even the difficult parts, was planned long before your first breath? The concept of spiritual contracts suggests that before incarnating, souls enter into agreements, outlining the lessons they wish to learn, the challenges they're prepared to overcome, and the specific purposes they're destined to fulfill. Think of it as a divine blueprint, a roadmap for your soul's journey. These contracts aren't rigid, set-in-stone decrees. They are more like flexible guidelines that can be renegotiated, altered, or even completely rewritten based on the free will choices you make throughout your life. The gatekeepers don't want you to know this level of freedom. They want you to believe you're trapped. But what if chosen ones were entrusted with even greater responsibility, accepting burdens that others would shy away from, knowing it was part of a grander design? What if you, even as a child, felt a sense of duty that went beyond your years, a calling that resonated deep within your soul? Did you ever feel that no matter what you did, you had to accept responsibility for it? Did you accept what others would not? I recall the story of a chosen one named Sarah. From a young age, she faced relentless bullying and social isolation. While other children were enjoying carefree playtime, Sarah was navigating a minefield of emotional abuse and constant rejection. But instead of succumbing to bitterness or despair, she developed an extraordinary capacity for compassion and empathy. She became a beacon of hope for other outcasts, a fierce advocate for the marginalized, and a powerful voice against injustice. This is what the gatekeepers want you to deny, that your purpose is present. Her childhood hardships, as painful as they were, seemed perfectly aligned with the specific lessons she was meant to learn in this lifetime. When others were broken, did you stand tall? Did you feel like you had to carry more? The idea of pre-birth agreements can be comforting for some, offering a sense of meaning and purpose amidst the chaos of life. But for others, particularly those who have experienced significant trauma, it can be unsettling, even triggering. It raises difficult questions about free will, divine justice, and the nature of suffering. Is there a path for those who don't believe? What happens to those with trauma? LXXXI. Pre-birth agreements, influencing childhood events. 109, 15, 110, 45. Chosen ones, the journey of embracing your destiny revolves around understanding the delicate dance between free will and destiny, a constant interplay between the choices you make and the path that was laid out for you long ago. Which holds more weight? What happens when the two meet? While the concept of pre-birth agreements may seem far-fetched, consider how it might subtly influence seemingly random childhood events. Remember the specific toys you were drawn to, the games you loved to play, the imaginary worlds you created. What if those weren't just idle pastimes, but carefully orchestrated opportunities to develop specific skills, cultivate certain traits, and prepare you for your future role? Action figures and solitary play allowed you to create elaborate scenarios, to experiment with leadership, strategy, and problem-solving. Building blocks and construction sets fostered your creativity, spatial reasoning, and engineering skills. Dolls and role-playing games nurtured your empathy, communication, and caregiving abilities. These things created a path for you to step on and follow. Was destiny the same as a path, or a set of instructions? Did any of it seem real at the time? Think about the toys of biblical figures. Moses had his staff, a symbol of divine authority that he used to liberate his people. David had his sling, a seemingly simple weapon that he wielded with deadly accuracy to defeat Goliath. The Ark of the Covenant was a sacred vessel that housed the very presence of God. What if these objects weren't just tools, but divinely appointed instruments that amplified their abilities and guided them towards their destinies? Now, think of your own gifts, the toys you have used to this day. Connect these events to real-life events in the present day, including media headlines. Do these events feel like déjà vu or destiny? But what if those contracts are too much to bear? What if they weigh too heavily on your soul? Are you able to just quit? The gatekeepers want you to think it's impossible. But what if you can renegotiate your destiny, rewrite your spiritual contract, and forge a new path for yourself, even if doing so could hurt others or leave a world in need? What would you do? LXXXII. Renegotiating destiny, amending your spiritual contract, 110, 45, 112, 15. What if you didn't want to accept these hardships? What if you didn't want to accept the preordained agreement? Is it possible to say no? Acknowledge these situations can be difficult and hard. Renegotiating your destiny isn't about shirking responsibility or escaping challenges. It's about aligning your soul with your true purpose, about ensuring that your path is in harmony with your deepest values and aspirations. The first step is to identify the source of your discontent. What specific aspects of your spiritual contract are causing you pain, resentment, or a sense of misalignment? Are you carrying burdens that aren't truly yours to bear? Are you sacrificing your own well-being for the sake of others? The second step is to assess whether the potential outcome is worth the pain you are enduring now. Maybe the outcome is for a greater good. Consider the long game and don't take these steps lightly. Remember that these steps can be a lot and should not be taken lightly. The path will still be there. Remember, chosen ones, changing the world is hard. Changing your own path is harder. Examples from the Bible are plentiful. Even Jesus himself, in the Garden of Gethsemane, wrestled with his destiny, pleading with his Father, "Take this cup from me, yet not what I will, but what you will." He contemplated removing the burden of crucifixion, but he knew that doing so would prevent the redemption of humanity. We are all making choices that are both good and bad. Stress the viewer has to want the change. What would the world have looked like? Would it even exist? You have to want to change it, and not for any other reason than your own. Remember, chosen ones, it is up to you to choose the next step, but before you do, stress safety. Only when you find peace are you ready to unleash yourself and provide a safe path to the world. Are you ready to embrace the good and the bad? LXXXII. Final step, unleash your gift, 112, 15, 113, 45. Chosen ones, it's time. The pieces are coming together. It's time to take those lessons and make them count. What will you do with them? Unleashing your gifts safely and with good intention requires a combination of acceptance, skill, and understanding. First, accept the parts of your spiritual contract that resonate with your soul, the core values and purposes that align with your deepest aspirations. These are the foundations upon which you will build your life. Second, use your current gifts to the best of your ability. Hone your skills, cultivate your talents, and seek out opportunities to serve others. Your gifts are meant to be shared, not hoarded. Third, understand and live. Take time to introspect and allow for true understanding to take place. Consider the biblical examples, but also real-world success stories. Remember the chosen one with the toy from before that was used for protection and turned into something that was not, until the family used their gifts to heal the family and toy. If not for the gifts, how can these problems be solved? How can you, with your gifts, change a bad situation to a good situation? It's time to come into your full self. It is up to you to take action and move on with a final note of faith. The gatekeepers are running out of time. Are you, LXXXIV, chosen ones to action? The path is in you, 113:45, 115:15, chosen ones, pause, reflect on the journey we've taken together. Why does this matter? The journey of being a chosen one is about taking all the tools and experiences, even the bad ones, and understanding them. It's about recognizing that every challenge, every setback, every seemingly random event has shaped you into the person you are today. You now know, and you can choose. You have all the tools and skills, and you can use them to change the world. The only thing holding you back is you. Don't let it. You have the ability to see beyond the surface, to sense energies that others cannot, to connect with the spiritual realm in profound ways. What can you do to take all these events and provide a path to the lost? How can you use your gifts to heal the world, to inspire hope, and to create a better future? The gatekeepers don't want you to realize how powerful you are. They want you to hide your light, to dim your flame. Don't let them. Think about the moments you have felt alone in your life, those moments when you felt like giving up. Now understand you are not alone. Remember the times when you felt misunderstood and alone. Now you understand why. It's time to wrap everything up. It's time to embrace your mission, to embrace yourself, and to step into your destiny. What will you do? LXXXV. Call to action. A look in the mirror to see the future. 115:15, 116:45. Chosen ones, you have the power to protect yourselves from negative influences and reclaim your authority. Even if you're alone, even if you're afraid. How will people be told? How will the world understand? You've been gifted with the tools to transform your vulnerabilities into strength. This requires self-compassion, forgiveness, healthy boundaries, and supportive communities. It's about recognizing your worth, forgiving yourself for past mistakes, setting limits on what you're willing to tolerate, and connecting with others who understand and support you. You must move forward, but to what? How are you going to? You are ready to step into your destiny. What that looks like is the video ahead. How can they take that journey, connect it with a story to show their own destiny? Are you ready to step in? Thank you for viewing. For more information, the links are in the description. Remember, it's up to you to take what you have learned and move forward. The echoing truth, summarizing our shared, chosen experiences, 0, chosen ones, the journey to learning these truths, to uncovering the hidden connections in your childhood, has been a lot. But you've made it because you are among those chosen. Remember the heightened intuition, the moments when you just knew things, when you sensed energies that others couldn't. Remember the encounters with spiritual entities, the beings that watched over you, guided you, even if no one else believed they were real. And what about those vivid dreams and visions, the glimpses into other realms, the prophetic messages that stirred within your soul? Or the intense empathy, the ability to feel the pain of others as if it were your own, a burden and a gift? These powers, these sensitivities, they weren't random, were they? They were all connected. And what about those hardships, those challenges, that feeling of being a scapegoat, facing orchestrated opposition at every turn? Even those had a purpose, didn't they? All related to the contracts that you signed. This is the first step. Acknowledge your gifts. But what do we do from here? What is the decision that is right? Three gifts. The empowerment trinity, 03100. You are now made whole. You are now armed with the trinity of empowerment, empathy, discernment, and resilience. And it is these gifts, these divinely bestowed attributes, that will allow you to overcome your shadows, to transmute generational patterns, to use the pain of the past as fuel for an illuminated shield. All are connected, all are needed to see your destiny, to see the truth in front of the world, and to understand your mission. What can these tools unlock? Each part of this trinity builds upon the other. Without empathy, discernment can be cold, a purely intellectual exercise devoid of compassion. Without discernment, empathy can be naive, leaving you vulnerable to manipulation and exploitation. And without resilience, both empathy and discernment can be crushed by the weight of the world's suffering, leaving you feeling overwhelmed and hopeless. Remember the value of each. Broader significance, 100 chosen ones, your specific childhood experiences, as unique and challenging as they were, are all connected to something far larger, the fulfillment of your divine assignments. You aren't simply here to navigate your own personal journey. You are here for a bigger mission. You are here to heal ancestral lines, to break the chains of trauma that have been passed down through generations. You are here to connect with the world around you, to bridge divides, to foster understanding, and to create a more compassionate and just society. You are here to transform pain into power, to alchemize your own suffering into a source of strength and inspiration for others. And perhaps most importantly, you are here to bring light into the darkness, to shine your unique brilliance upon a world that desperately needs it. You are not just bettering your life. You are not just bettering your life, but the lives of your friends, your family, and the entire world. Without your gifts, your courage, your willingness to embrace your destiny, where will the others go? IV. Resolve, now I know I can begin to plan for tomorrow, 13200. If you've resonated with these words, if you felt a stirring in your soul, if you've recognized your own experiences reflected in what we've discussed, know this: you are not alone. There are others out there who feel the same way, who have walked a similar path, who share your unique sensitivities and gifts. And you will find them. The connections will come. It starts today. Find relief in reframing your past, that feeling of being the scapegoat, of facing orchestrated opposition, of being somehow different. These aren't signs of weakness or failure. They are evidence of your unique purpose, of your heightened senses, of your ability to see and feel things that others cannot. This will not be easy, but it is needed. As those you have read about have said, the journey is the reward. Take all that is you and apply to all that you can. Now that you know, you must begin to plan. It will never be easy, but it will be, for the first time, authentic. Time to act, reaching to help 2000230. Share and connect. The link in the description will allow you to connect with those who are also on this journey. You have the means to take what you know and help the lost, to guide the next generation of chosen ones. Be a protector for these people and guide them. It will save the world. Those who have been targeted now have a mission to protect them. Those who know what is needed are now requested to provide their gift. Every single one of your gifts. Chosen ones, you have the power to help. You have the power to change lives. Help is needed. What are you going to do? The calling to action. Let's step into the future. 23300. Now that you know you are a chosen one, what steps do you now want to take? Share with us in the comments so we can help guide you, so we can connect you with others, so we can amplify your voice and your impact. The comments are more than just engagement. They are an army, a collective of lightworkers, ready to change the world, one comment, one connection, one act of kindness at a time. Join your brothers and sisters. You have been chosen to change the world. Now the question, is the world ready for you? Take heart, chosen ones, because light always overcomes darkness. Remember the heightened intuition, the spiritual encounters, the vivid dreams, the intense empathy. All of these are tools in your arsenal, weapons in your spiritual arsenal. They are your birthright, your heritage, your divine inheritance. Step into your power, embrace your destiny, and show us who you become. Let us see you rise, and to continue your journey, to delve deeper into the mysteries of your calling, to unlock even more of your hidden potential. Be sure to check out the links in the description for the next video. Until then, chosen ones, have a great journey.